or international trade industry. So this would better equip them in knowing how to compute the duties and taxes on their importation. But before we start, we just like to remind our YouTube followers or viewers that this discussion would be divided into 3 parts. The first 2 videos, we will dedicate it for discussing the theoretical side of our computing on how we should compute the duties and taxes. And the last, or the third video, we will utilize that to apply what we have learned during the first 2 videos. We'll start. So what is the first thing that we should know? So there's one thing that we should understand first, which is the dutiable value. So, ano ba po ang dutiable value? So, by definition, your dutiable value is the price paid or payable for the goods sold for exchange after considering dutiable value as for is your cost of continue. Next element is your dutiable trade. Dutiable trade is governed by your third one is governed by the same law. Lastly, your dutiable other charges. Dutiable other charges mandatory addition. So you have your commissions, your assist, royalties, packaging, proceeds, insurance, and transport. The details of which you can find under Customs Memorandum Order 16-2010. So ito po yung IRR natin for our WTO valuation agreement. So yung sa ating pong methods of valuation. Alright, so let's now go to the details of our elements. So next, basically, principal charges paid for the match of the party from porting or into or how do we know what was paid? Based on section 3.2 of your chain of
hold the line! In the name of the Emperor, you will not falter!
In the
we can't hold! Run for your lives!
And or invoice,
you will fight or you will die.
On the entry and detailed figures provided not lower than 70% of the consonants rate. Otherwise, this certification from the carrier or official receipt as to the actual carrier or actual freight charges paid by the duty center to the bill.
I am Captain Gabriel Angelos of the Blood Ravens 3rd Company. Status.
My lord, forgive me. We have done all we can to stop the orcs, but we have failed. My men's lives are yours.
You stood your ground in the face of the Emperor's foes. You've done your duty. If your men have failed you, I will leave their judgment in your hands.
Thank you, my lord.
I am not here for your thanks. This port must be held if we are to maintain troops and supply lines to the planet's surface. That is why we are here. Now, what of the wounded and the civilians?
Stranded. We have few ships.
Then you shall have more. All Blood Raven flights execute Protocol 23 and initiate civilian evacuation. We will dispatch the ground forces.
Yes, my lord.
Ground forces, my lord. But the orcs have retreated.
You must know your enemy to defeat them, Colonel. Orcs only retreat to regroup. They will keep coming until you or they are dead.
Ito po yung inyong marine insurance lang po ito ha. From port of origin lang to port of destination.
Brothers, let us destroy this alien filth.
Same regulation. CMO 22-2007. A. If the terms of sale are CIF or CIP, the amount of the actual insurance premium shall be used in the assessment. So kung yan po ang Incoterm na ginagamit nyo, CIF or CIP, pwede po daw na gamitin yung mismong insurance na kasama doon sa Incoterms na po yun, sa terms of shipment nyo na yun. So I suggest, so that for clarity purposes, you can ask your suppliers abroad to break down
as the
those
stronghold,
charges.
our frontline
so,
battle headquarters is currently being assembled.
In terms of shipment,
We shall proceed with caution until it is finished.
For example, sa CIF nga, no? So,
We must start
indicate
capturing
FOB,
strategic points. These
the
3 closest
insura at the
strategic
freight,
points will do for
and
now.
then the insurance.
Let us capture them first,
So,
and then move on to the others.
At least,
The
it's
Emperor.
very clear.
The stronghold is
Sa
glorious.
inyo,
Of the
sa
Emperor now
custom,
set about
na
establishing a proper frontline
yun po
base.
ang insurance na binayaran nyo po. So, next, letter B. If such amount is lower than 2%, no, of the FOB value for general cargo and 4% of
The
the
first thing we need
the FOB value for dangerous goods or inflammable goods, the same shall be subject to further verification by the BFC. So next, if a shipment or yung shipment nyo po, no, is covered by a local or domestic insurance,
Chapel Barracks is finished.
the
Now
amount
you can
of
build some more
insurance
Space
premium
Marine squads.
actually paid may be accepted for assessment purposes. If equivalent or higher than 2 or 4% of the total
Praise the
FOB
Emperor.
for general and dangerous
Agreed.
goods
Yes, my
or
lord.
cargo respectively.
Weapons at
If we
ready.
are to
So, ito
defeat
naman
these
po,
orcs,
kapag
we
ang-
will need to call in some special
inyong,
weapons. We must build an armory to
terms
get
of shipment
access
or
to
yung
them.
inyong Incoterms does not include insurance and your company opted to secure a local insurance here in the Philippines, so pwede nyo po magamit yung insurance na yon, yung premium na yon, kung magkano yung binayaran nyo, provided na 2% that more, ano siya, equivalent or more than 2 or 4%
strategic points and building
ng
listening
FOB.
posts on them earns us
So,
more
sinabi ko po,
acquisition
yung
resource,
2%
which we
ginagamit
can use when we build
kapag
squads
general
and
cargo.
equipment.
Yung 4% pag dangerous or
Armory is operational.
inflammable
The Space
charges.
Marine squads can now
So
upgrade
next,
their standard quotas to
if
flammers and heavy bombers.
yung local insurance premium nyo is lower than 2% of the FOB, diba kanina po sinasabi, pwedeng
We must
gamitin
not
kung
forget our
equivalent
power
or more
needs.
than.
Today, the enemy shall plasma
Next
generator
naman,
will supply us with the
provision,
power
letter
we
D,
need to keep
the
our
same
force
CMO,
going.
if the local insurance premium is lower than 2% of the FOB value for general cargo to 4% of or 4% of the FOB value for dangerous or inflammable goods,
Plasma
then
generators will continue
a
to produce power at a constant
certification
rate.
from the
But there is a
insurance
limit of
company
how many plasma generators
indicating
can
the
be
actual
built per
premium
squad.
paid shall be presented to the BOC together with the original official receipt. A copy of that OR shall be certified as true copy by the concerned customs appraiser, who shall attach
Marine Squad
the
deployed.
same to the original working copy of
Excellent.
the entry.
The point is now
In short
protected
po,
from an awkward retaliation.
Kanina,
We should
ang
continue
sabi,
to build
pwede
listening
gamitin
posts on
basta
all
yung local
our
insurance
captured
kapag
points.
equivalent sa 2%
For the
or
Emperor.
4% or higher.
Ever
Okay?
vigilant.
Than the 2 or 4%. Depending kung, again, general
out.
It is time to hunt down the
In this
source
case,
of
kung
these
mas
gods.
mababa siya
They must have a base somewhere
Okay,
within the
pwede
walls
nyo
of this
siyang
imperial
gamitin
facility. But
as
where?
basis for your dutiable insurance, kung you can present
Stand
a
ready.
certification from the
Emperor's chosen.
insurance company, okay, together with the original receipt. So dalawa po yun. Merong certification,
The Emperor protects.
tsaka may OR.
Beware the
So, okay,
alien.
so both indicating kung magkano yung premium na binayaran.
What would you
So
have?
kung masatisfy nyo yun,
Take and hold.
which is ito, hindi naman imposible kasi if you, for practical purposes, pag, in reality, no, kapag
And look there, this
nag-apply tayo ng
space
domestic,
warriors of war.
or ng
They must have
ng
blasted
domestic,
their
ng
way.
local domestic
We must
insurance,
destroy
the
this
local
order
insurance,
and any
um,
others these foul creatures
we can
may have
always ask for
constructed.
the certification, no, from the insurance company. Of course, syempre may OR po yan. Okay, the next, if the importation, no, is not covered by any local insurance,
Yes.
the amount of insurance premium
Excellent. This
declared
camp has been
in the
destroyed.
entry may be accepted,
Yes,
okay,
initiate.
provided that if such amount is lower than 2%
Today the enemy shall
and
be feared.
4% of the FOB value for general and dangerous cargoes respectively, the same shall be subject to verification by the BOC. Okay.
Fear
So,
denies faith.
pwede po daw magamit, pero kailangan i-verify pa ni BOC.
And
But,
carry a big
um,
gun.
I await
yung
your
nangyayari po talaga sa ground is that
This day shall
kapag
be a those imperial
wala
guardsmen
kang
look like they could use
i-present
some assistance.
na local
Come,
insurance
brothers,
premium
make haste.
or
Our
na local
prayers
na
have been
wala kang
answered.
local
Keep
insurance
the
together with the
enemy must be
certification and
nearby.
OR, automatic po na
Walk
you
softly.
will be assessed using the 2 or the 4%, no, na insurance, dutiable insurance.
Yes,
We
my lord.
are the
Again,
imperial guard.
kapag
It is time we started
doon sa
acting
terms
like
of
it.
shipment nyo, kasama na yung insurance,
Your order.
mas maganda po,
We are the
naka-indicate
While
siya
the
ang
enemies of the
separate
emperor still
value
draw
doon
breath,
sa
there can
invoice.
be no peace.
para at least
We
clear
are the Emperor's
kung
chosen.
ano po yung talagang insurance amount na ginamit. And kung wala naman po, if you acquired a local insurance here in the Philippines, you should ask for a certification with official receipt indicating the amount of insurance. So, yun po. I hope that's clear, no? For the dutiable insurance. Alright. So, of course, yung values po natin, no, are all in siyempre sa abroad po natin binibili yan. So, it's either in US dollars or other third currency. Okay? So,
Faith is
right now,
assumed.
I will be
Stay
discussing with
vigilant,
you
brothers.
yung
I
CMO
await your
14-2019 Section 3, which is about your exchange rate. No? Okay. So, kasi po, yung dutiable value nyo pag na-compute, so, di ba, meron po yung customs value, alam nyo na kung ano yung FOB, FCA. Alam nyo na rin kung ano yung dutiable freight nyo. Alam nyo na rin po kung ano yung dutiable insurance. Then, na-determine nyo na rin po yung kung may mandatory additions kayo. Kung wala, nothing to add. Kung meron, you need to add
Beware
it.
the alien.
Okay?
The mutant.
Then, if you add all of those, that would be in US dollars or in other third currency. Okay? So, you need to convert those
He who
values
stands
into
with me shall
peso.
be my
Okay? So, ito
brother.
po yung guidelines
Orders
on how to do
received,
that.
brother.
Okay? So, first, the exchange rate issued by the Bangko Sentral of ng Pilipinas each Friday shall be adopted
Orders received.
the following day Saturday up to Friday the following week. Okay? So, yung issue po, for example, Biyernes po ngayon. So, yung kung ano man yung exchange rate ngayon would be effective bukas pa po, Sabado, hanggang sa Biyernes the following week. Okay? Then, if no exchange rate issued on a Friday, the rate issued by BSP prior to that Friday shall apply. Okay? So, ganun, kanina po, di ba? Friday siya in-issue, Sabado ang application. So, kunyari, Biyernes ulit po ngayon, walang na-issue ngayon. So, kung ano yung rate na effective noong Thursday, yun po na ang magiging effective rate again ng Friday. So, yung Thursday rate na yan po yung rate nung nakaraang pang linggo. Okay? So, kung ano man yung rate po na yun nung nakaraang linggo na yun, ngayong Thursday, siya na po ang magiging exchange rate nyo for Friday, okay, which is applicable Saturday, yung kinabukasan, hanggang the following week, Friday. So, ganun po. At kung walang Thursday, so yung issue ng Wednesday, etc. No? Going back po, from the Friday. Okay. And next, for computation of duties and taxes, the prevailing exchange rate for the week on the date of entry lodgement shall be used. Okay. So kung kailan po kayo nag-lodge, yun po yung kung anong araw man po yun, kung anong effective exchange rate during that time na nag-lodge kayo, or when you computed, for example, nag-compute kayo ng duties and taxes ngayon, at kailangan, para maging accurate, you need to make sure na yun din yung exchange rate for that or for whatever day that you will lodge the entry. Okay? Para consistent po yung computation nyo, yung manual computation, doon sa i-declare nyo sa E2M system. And next, lastly, na kailangan yung tandaan, foreign currency shall be directly converted to Philippine peso. Okay lang po yun. Kung US dollars po yung diretso peso. Kung for example, euro siya, hindi na po siya kailangan dumaan pa ng US dollars. Diretso na po siyang peso. Same goes with kung yen man po yan or kung ano pang other currencies yan, hindi na po siya dadaan ng usually po kasi minsan kino-convert pa natin ng dollars. Pero ito po, kailangan whatever that currency is, diretso na siya to Philippine peso. Okay, so that is the end of our session for this first part of our first video. Stay tuned to our next YouTube video. Thank you everyone. Excellent. And stay safe.
This orc camp has been destroyed. The enemy must be nearby.
Welcome back to our discussion on how to compute duties, taxes, and other charges for containerized cargoes discharged at the South Harbor or the Manila International Container Port. So, this is our second video. Brief summary of what we have tackled already. In the first video, we have discussed already how, or the theoretical side of how to compute for your dutiable value. Okay. So, just a quick rundown. So, you have 4 elements. So, you have your customs value. You have your dutiable rate. The next, your dutiable insurance, and lastly, your dutiable other charge. So since we have already gone through the components of dutiable value, our next discussion, or this second video, we will be discussing the components of your landed cost. Your components of your landed cost will be first, your dutiable value, which we have already, again, summarized. Earlier, we have
the Emperor
discussed in our first video.
Orders received,
so,
brother.
Next component would be our customs duty, followed by our bank charge. The next one is our brokerage fee. This is regulated by under Customs Administrative or governed by Customs Administrative Order 1-2001. The next is our Warpage due, which is under Customs Memorandum Order 26-95 and Customs Memorandum Order 4-2006 and Customs Memorandum Order 7-2014, followed by our Arrester Charge, which is governed by Customs Memorandum Order 26-95C and CMO 7-2014. The next is your Customs Documentary Stamp, which is fixed at 280 pesos. Then lastly is our Import Processing Fee or IPF, which is governed by Customs Administrative Order 2-2001. So that is the components of our landed cost. Let's talk about the details. We have discussed already your dutiable value, right? So the customs duty, your customs duty is governed by your section 1610 of your CMPA, right? In which, so depending on how you would classify your goods, there is a corresponding rate of duty, okay, for each product. Once you have classified it and you know already the rate of duty, you just simply multiply that rate of duty to your dutiable value in peso to come up with your customs duty. Okay.
Yes, most beneficent.
The next is your bank charge. So your bank charge, basically, if you are your bank charge, if you are using LC as your modes of payment, you need to indicate a bank charge in the elements of your landed cost, which is, this is 1/8 of 1% of your DV or 0.00125 multiplied by your DV. Okay, so you will get already your bank charge. But take note, if you are the mode of your mode of payment is other than letters of credit, say telegraphic transfer, you don't need to put a bank charge. Okay? So bank charge, you just add it into your landed cost when your mode of payment is under letters of credit. Okay? I hope that's clear. Okay? So kapag bank charge po, kapag LC, you need to put bank charge. Kapag other than LC yung mode of payment, hindi nyo na po kailangan lagyan. Let's now go to your brokerage fee. Okay? So brokerage fee nyo po, no? So based on your CAO 1-2001, okay? So customs brokerage fees covered by formal or warehousing entries and transshipment, may table po siya. Okay? So depending kung ano po yung amount ng dutiable value nyo, may corresponding rate siya. So you can see that table in your CAO 1-2001. But if your dutiable value is over 200,000 pesos, okay, so ang magiging formula nyo na po is 5.3, okay, plus 1/8 of 1% in excess. Okay?
Praise the Emperor.
Ng 200,000. Okay, kapag more than 200,000 siya, so 5.3 plus 1/8 of 1%. So, to simplify, diba, medyo parang komplikado, no, sa computation. To simplify, diba kanina nabanggit natin sa bank charge, 0.00125. Tama po? Ng dutiable value. That is your bank charge. So dito, para hindi po kayo ma-confuse, no, kapag more than 200,000 po ang inyong dutiable value, okay, gagana lang po itong formula na to kapag more than 200,000, ha, is take note ang dutiable value. So if it's more than 200,000, It's the formula for your brokerage fee, shortcut formula po to, no? 5,050 plus 0.00125 of your GPable value.
Yes, most
So, yun po yun ang ating formula. Okay, so,
Today the enemy shall know
so basically
fear.
para po siyang 5,050 plus bank charge.
At your command.
So,
What would you have
that's
me
the other
do?
way of
Onward
stating it,
to glory.
Formula 1.
Weapons at
Para
ready.
po, kasi kung yung 1/8 of 1% pa, diba, in excess of the 200,000, so medyo mahaba pa yung formula. So, sinortcut na po namin yun. So, next one, let's now go to your, in computing your arastre and
Weapons at
warfare.
ready. It is time.
Before we discuss it, there is a criteria, no, in computing your arastre and warfare for assessment purposes. So first, you need to determine the port of discharge. Kasi iba po yung assessment
That's the last of us.
ng
Well
arastre
done,
warfare
my
kapag
brothers.
outports
Victory
at
is
kapag
ours.
major ports. But don't confuse yourself first. Ito pong pinag-uusapan natin ngayon is for the major ports muna. No? Yung MIT, via C, no? MICT, and Port of Manila or South Port. Then, yun na nga po, determine kung ano yung applicable issuance.
I am honored
So,
to be
in
in the
this
presence
case,
of a librarian.
Since
wish to know
major
how
ports
my
ang
men can
pinag-uusapan
better serve
natin,
you.
ang
We shall wait
applicable
for the captain to finish his
issuance niya
prayers.
is your
I saw you stand against the odds.
CMO7-2014.
You are a brave man, Colonel.
So, yun po, based
I
on
wish I
that
could say the
issuances,
same of your
you can
men.
now determine
I
kung
shall
ano yung
strengthen the
applicable
resolve, my lord.
arastre or
See that you do,
warfage.
or we
case.
shall do it for you.
So, we have discussed kung ano po yung criteria. So, now,
You have
what is
something you
arastre?
wish to say.
Okay? So,
Say it, Colonel.
by definition,
How did you
arastre, it is the amount which the
Even
owner,
without my psychic
consignee,
efforts,
or agent
obvious.
of either
Speak.
of the
Is
merchandise
it true your
has to
company
pay for the
eradicated a heresy
receiving,
on the planet of Saturn
handling,
recently?
and custody of the merchandise
down to the planet's last
imported
man,
or
woman and
for
child. Colonel,
export.
your
Yan po
company
yung
is
ating
welcome,
definition
but
ng
such
arastre.
questions
So
are
basically,
not.
yan po
Do
yung
not ask the captain about
binabayaran
salary
natin doon
if you
sa
intend to remain in his
operators,
good
kay
graces.
ICTSI, kay arastre operator, kay ICTSI, or kay ATI.
Brother
So ATI po
The
is
Colonel wishes
isang
an
terminals
audience with
incorporated, is
Thank you,
South
Isidore.
Harbor,
My
arastre
lord,
operator,
my
and
Tartarus
yung
37th
ICTSI
Imperial
naman
Guard
po
Regiment
is
stand ready to
yung
serve you in
arastre
protecting the
operator
city.
sa
They wish to make
MICT.
amends for.
They will have
Correct.
many
So
opportunities
based
to
on
prove
your
themselves warriors worthy of the Emperor.
CMO7-2014,
Ravens are leaving
no?
the
So I mentioned
city.
the law
Its
governing
protection is in
your
your
arrested
hands.
charges for
I will
assessment
ready my
purposes.
men.
May
May I
table
ask
po
what your
na
next
nakalagay
course of
doon.
action is?
So,
Orcs only respect
just grab a
strength.
copy and
I
makikita nyo
intend
po
to show them that we have it
very
in ample
clear naman po
supply.
yun. Na, for example, kung 20 footer po yung inyong shipment, ang arrastre charge nyo po is for import po, no? For import
Excellent.
is
This orc camp has been destroyed.
3,727 pesos. No, that is exclusive of VAT. And kung 40 footer naman po,
War Journal of Captain
per
Gabriel
container,
Angelos.
no, it's
The situation on the planet Tartarus is
8,551
grim.
pesos.
While
So
the
yung
Blood
amount na po
Ravens
yan po
crushed
ang
the main orc
gagamitin nyo
offensive at the spaceport.
doon sa
The
pag-compute.
bulk of their force is
Now,
not
for
engaged.
assessment, please
They
take note,
gather
this
in
is
the
for
wilderness,
assessment
awaiting a
purposes.
critical mass
Okay?
of bodies
So,
that will
huwag nyo
overwhelm
pong
the
i-confuse
Imperial
yung sarili
forces
nyo.
in a
Ito po
green
kasi
wave
yung
of
binayaran
death and
namin sa
destruction.
sa
The Blood
na
Ravens
actual.
will not
Hindi
allow
po.
this to
Huwag
occur.
nyo po isipin yun.
Orbital monitoring
May
has detected
regulation
an
po, which is
area in the southern forests where the orcs appear
7-2014
to be massing.
na nagmamandate
Orcs
na
only
ito yung
respect
rates na
strength.
kailangan nyo gamitin
So they
kapag
will look to the
for
largest
assessment
of their
purposes.
groups
Ibig
to
sabihin,
lead
pag
them.
magpo-compute kayo ng duties
We
and taxes,
will
and
insert a
in turn, yun din po
small
yung
covert strike
i-declare
force to
nyo na
eliminate
computation
these orc
sa
leaders
E2M,
and
no?
destroy any encampments where the orcs might
in filling
mass.
up your single
This
administrative
should
document.
cut to the heart of the orcs'
Pero
fighting
klaro po yun
spirit
ha, huwag
and
pong
delay
ma-confuse
their inevitable
doon sa actual na binayaran.
We must
Okay,
tread
hindi po yun
lightly,
ang gagamitin. Ang
lest we
gagamitin po
disturb
is yung
the slumbering
rates na
beast.
nakalagay sa CMO 7-2014. Okay po. Right. So So makikita nyo doon sa table, you have your
orders.
FCL for
and may the Emperor protect you.
or your full container load for import and export, and nandun po yung
I do not care for all this sneaking about.
cargo
I
rates,
know,
but these are for
friend.
assessment purposes.
You always have preferred the direct.
Let's go to your warpage.
We have the
What is your
Imperial
warpage?
Guard. Why not send them into battle
It is the
instead of
amount
treating them
assessed
like glorified
against the
shepherds?
cargo
If
of
we
a
meet the orcs
vessel
in force, they
engaged
cannot
in
possibly
foreign
stand before
or
us.
cost-wise
We've fought the orc
trade
100 times
based on the
before.
quantity,
They thrive
weight,
on war.
or
A direct
measurement
assault on them would
received
likely
and
improve
or
their
discharged
morale
by such
and
vessel,
simply attract more.
either the owner,
casualties would be
consignee,
enormous.
or
What are the
agent
Imperial
of the
Guard for if
merchandise
not to die for
is
their emperor?
liable.
At the very least,
for
we
such
should
charge.
retain a regiment to
So
remain at our
warpage
core.
usually po
We
ito
have little
eh,
support this far
sinisingil
out.
po ng PPA.
We would not want to be
or
remembered for
Philippine
our
Port
carelessness.
We,
But again,
old friend,
Huwag po maguluhan.
me.
Yung discussion
We are
natin
brothers,
is
Gabriel.
for
You know
assessment
better than to
purposes.
ask
Ibig
that
sabihin,
question.
para lang po sa computation
I know
ng
what
duties
this is
and taxes
about.
po ito,
There
ha?
was nothing you could
Wala
have
pong
done to
kinalaman
save
yung
Cyrene.
actual na
do not mention
binabayaran.
that place again.
Alright,
Isidore.
so, for
Cyrene
your
was my home.
warpage
My
charges, you
responsibility.
need to refer again to CMO 7-2014. So, may table na naman po siya ron. So, kung import
Scout Team
cargo po
3,
siya, na
do
full
you copy?
container load,
Yes,
ang
my lord.
20 footer nyo po,
The local
rate na
Imperial
ilalagay nyo
Waterworks
is
has fallen into orc
519.
hands. If we are to reclaim this
0.35,
area,
that is
we must
exclusive of that.
first retake this
Sa
position.
40 footer nyo naman
Scouts
po,
have
it's
infiltrated ahead of you and will assist you in your
779
reconnaissance.
pesos
If things
0.05
prove
cents.
to be more than you
And so
can
on and so
handle,
forth. So, yan po yung
reinforcements will
mga
be mobilized to
amounts na
assist.
kailangan yung
Getting into
gamitin.
position.
Depende kung 20, 40, o 45 footer ba yung container na pinarating nyo. And of course, please do not forget, per container po itong rate, no? Yung sa Arastre and dito sa warpage as indicated in your CMO
This area is
7-2014.
crawling with
Huwag niyo po
orcs.
kalimutan
We should
i-multiply
infiltrate to sneak past them.
doon sa number
Do
of
not get too
containers.
close,
Kunyari, 10
or
by
we may be
40.
spotted.
So, you need to multiply
Scouts awaiting orders.
the warpage or Arastre
Yes, my
rate
lord.
per container sa number of containers. Okay, baka makalimutan niyo po kasi.
Scouts ready.
Continue. Okay, so let's now discuss your IPF, no, your import processing fee.
Getting into
So,
position.
there is a table based on
Gathering
your
intelligence.
CAO 2-2001 that states the rates and customs
Search
fees and
commencing.
charges for your
On patrol.
IPF.
Excellent.
Getting into
So yung
position.
Your
IPF
Scout
nyo
Marine
po
squad
for
is now
formal and
invisible
informal
to
entry,
all enemies
Yes,
except
ang
for
table nyo po
commanders.
is
Keep in mind though,
yung
if you
dutiable
are
value,
attacked,
no, based
your
on visible
invisibility
value,
will be
no,
broken,
up
and
to
some time will pass
250,000
before you can
pesos.
utilize it again.
We will move ahead.
your
and mark any
IPF
enemy
is
positions.
250.
We will move ahead.
Hindi po
and mark any
mahirap
enemy positions.
tandaan. From 0 to 250,
Getting into position.
ang rate is
On patrol.
250 pesos. So, over 250 hanggang 500,000 pesos, ang rate is 500.
Gathering intelligence.
Di ba po, yung dulo-dulo lang ang tatandaan.
Infiltration.
Then, over 500,000 pesos,
Zeros are
up
guarding
to
a strategic point.
750,000
Scout
pesos,
Team 2 is
ng
upgraded
dutiable
with
value,
sniper
ang
rifles.
IPF
They
rate
will
is
make short work.
Scouts
750
awaiting
pesos.
orders. At your command. We
Then
will
next,
take them down.
over
from here.
750,000 pesos, ang IPF rate is 1,000 pesos. So, apat lang po yun. No? So, it's not hard to remember kasi yung
Scouts
dulo-dulo lang. Diba?
Area
Yung
secured.
250, so 250 siya. Up to 500.
Yes, my
So
lord.
500 din po siya. Up to 750,000, so 750 naman po. Then over 750,000 pesos, 1,000.
Scouts ready.
Alright, so since alam na natin, no, how to compute all the components of your landed cost, let's go to your summary. Okay, so isa-summarize na natin yung computation natin from the top. So COD, okay, ito po yung dutiable value nyo times yung rate of duty. Okay, so that's the first line of your summary.
Position
Second
secure.
line of your summary or second item is your
We will
value
go
added
ahead
tax.
and mark
How do you
any
compute
enemy
that?
positions.
By simply
Gathering
multiplying 12% to your landed cost. Okay? Yun po kung walang
Our target is an
excise
orc
tax.
patrol. Scouts are into position.
Pero kung may excise tax po siya, your VAT
I sense
would
danger.
be
We will root it
landed
out.
cost
We'll move ahead
plus
and mark any
whatever is your excise tax is, then times 12%. So you add your landed cost and excise tax, then saka nyo i-multiply ng 12% to come up with your VAT. So, I hope that's clear. Then, next item, if any lang po kung meron, excise tax. No? You have to indicate in your summary your
Scouts ready.
next is your
Scouts awaiting orders.
ITF. Okay? So, as discussed earlier, no? So, depende kung sa value ng goods nyo. Then, next one, okay? The fifth one, you need to indicate your container security fee. Ano ba po yung container security fee or how much? That is $5 per 20-footer or $10 per 40-footer. Okay. So, yun po yung amount. No? Kunyari, ang shipment nyo is 10 by 40. Alright? So, you have to
Scouts in position.
Yung container security fee nyo is $10 per 40-footer. So, you need to multiply it by
Scouts
10
ready.
containers. So, that is a total of $100.
Scouts in position.
Okay. So, yung $100 na yon, using the exchange rate, no, na we have discussed during the first video, yun ang gagamitin nyo to convert it to peso. Kasi lahat po nung items dito sa summary nyo is naka Philippine peso na po. Okay? So, lastly, ng summary nyo is your customs documentary stamp, which is fixed at 280 pesos. So, you add all those items, no?
Scouts in position.
To recap, your customs duty, your VAT, excise tax,
Scouts
if
ready.
any,
Scouts here.
then you have your
Scouts in
IPF,
position.
your CSF, your container security fee,
Scouts
and
awaiting
your
orders.
CDS
They
or
sense
customs
danger.
documentary
We'll root it
stamp.
out.
You add those, so yun na po yung magiging composition nyo ng duties, taxes,
Scouts
and
advance.
other charges.
Commencing
Okay, yun na
infiltration.
po yun. Take
Scouts
note.
here.
So, pakitandaan po ito. Siyempre po, may mga decimal points po yung computation natin. Tama po?
Scouts here.
Nag-round off tayo, etc. So, laging 2 decimal points. Pag nilagay nyo po yung, kunyari, na-compute kayo ng customs duty, meron siyang, let's say, may butal siya, may sense siya na point
Mark any enemy
20.
positions.
Okay, whatever the whole number is, then may point
Getting into
20.
position.
Kapag ang decimal
Gathering
point
intelligence.
po
Move
is
ahead. Large any enemy
less
positions.
than
He's in charge of this
0.5.
post. Commencing
No.
infiltration. Or
pag
severely
less than
weakening
0.5
scouts
po
ready.
siya,
We will take them.
tanggalin nyo na lang po.
Gathering intelligence.
Just remove the cents. Kunyari,
They sense danger.
1,000
Root it out,
point
awaiting
20.
orders.
Okay, yung customs duty. So, magiging, pag sinulat nyo siya sa
We will
summary,
take them down from
magiging
here.
1,000 na
Yes,
lang siya.
Scouts awaiting orders.
Pero, kapag 0.5 naman po siya,
Scouts awaiting
pataas. Kunyari, it's either
Yes,
0.5 or
I
0.6 or
sense
0.7.
We will root it
Kunyari,
out.
1,000.5. I-round off nyo na po yun sa nearest full number. So,
Scouts in
magiging
position. We will
yung
move ahead.
1,000.5
Scouts awaiting
magiging
orders.
1,001.
Yes, my lord.
Okay? So, I hope you were able to follow. Importante po yun. Kasi
At your
yung
command.
duties and taxes po, yung total customs duties, taxes, and other charges po natin, whole number lang po. Wala po siyang decimal point. Yun po yung rationale doon. That's why, I hope everybody was able to follow our
Gathering intelligence. Attack.
the second part of our theoretical discussion. So please stay tuned for our third video, third and last video, which is we will apply all those that we have learned here in the first 2 videos. So magkakaroon po tayo ng practical application para mas for your better understanding ng theoretical part. So again, thank you very much and stay safe.
Beware the alien, the mutant, the heretic. Walk softly.
Hi guys, we are now on the third video of our discussion on how to compute duties, taxes, and other charges for containerized cargoes discharged at the South Harbor or Manila International Container Port. Before we continue, just a quick recap of what we have discussed so far. So, yung una po nating video, diniscuss po natin doon yung ating dutiable value, okay, and its elements. Then, yung second video naman po natin, we have discussed the landed cost, its elements, and also the total duties, taxes, and other charges, and its components, or elements as well. Since natapos na po natin, no, yung theoretical part ng ating discussion, okay, ito po ngayon, ang susunod po natin pag-uusapan is yung practical application naman po ng natutunan natin. Okay. So, nakikita niyo po ngayon sa inyong screen, no? Gumawa po tayo ng isang scenario just to apply, no? Kung ano po yung natutunan po natin sa first two videos. Meron po tayong shipment na 1/40 that contains various floating goods, okay? And discharge po siya sa MICT. Then we have a mode of payment, which is letters of credit. And then we have an invoice price of $35,000, FOB, Port of Shanghai, China. And next, meron po tayong freight certification from the shipping line, which amounts to $850. And then, kumuha po tayo ng local insurance premium at 9,675 pesos and 80 cents. Of course, with certification and ORD po yan. Then after classifying our goods, we came up with a rate of duty of 1%. And our exchange rate, no, prevailing exchange rate po natin is 48 pesos and 379 cents per 1 position. So now let's compute for your total duties, taxes, and other charges. Alright, so based on the given, ang step 1 po natin is we need to convert yung dutiable insurance po natin into dollar. So, madali lang po, no? Yung peso po natin, we just divide it to our exchange rate, no? Then you will arrive at a dutiable insurance of $200. Okay, next is our step 2. Step 2 po natin is we add the elements or the components of our dutiable value.
The enemy is attacking.
Since in this case, or in this problem, or in this scenario, wala pong sinabi na mandatory addition. So, we are assuming there is none. So, ang components lang po ng dutiable value natin is your customs value of $35,000, dutiable freight of $850, dutiable insurance of $200. A total of $36,050 and $50. Okay. Then we have to convert that into peso. By multiplying our exchange rate, we will come up with a CB in peso of 1,744,062 pesos and 95 cents. So susunod po, our step 3, okay, we compute for the customs duty. Okay. So, of course, na-convert na po natin yung DV natin into peso. So all we have to do is multiply our rate of duty of 1%. So we will have a customs duty of 17,440 pesos and 63 cents. The next step, step 4, we compute for the bank charge kasi po under LC po siya. Okay? So your DV in peso, you multiply by the bank charge rate of 0.00125, which is 1/8 of 1%. So we will arrive at an amount of 2,180 pesos and 8 cents for your bank charge. So next step, step 5 po, we compute for the brokerage fee. Dahil ang dutiable value po natin is more than 200,000, so we can use our shortcut formula, no? So which is bank charge plus yung fixed amount po natin na 50/50. So bank charge plus 50/50, 5,050, we will have a brokerage fee of 7,230 pesos and 8 cents. I hope nasusundan po, no? Next step is our step 6. No, so we need to arrive, or we need to know kung ano po yung ating arrastre, warpage, CDS, which is your custom secondary stamp, and your import protocol. So, for the arrastre, based on your CMO 7-2014, yung 40-footer rate is 8,551 pesos. Yung warpage naman po is 779 pesos and 5 cents. Yung CDS natin, naka-fix po siya sa 280 pesos. And then, yung IPF natin, yung import processing fee, okay, dahil more than 750,000 po ang ating dutiable value, so 1,000 pesos. So, since alam na natin lahat nung makompute na po natin lahat ng elements po ng ating landed cost, so our step 7 would be adding all those elements. To start, your dutiable value of 1,744,062 pesos, 62 pesos and 95 cents. Okay. Next is your customs duty of 17,440 pesos and 62 cents. Next is your bank charge of 2,180 pesos and 8 cents. Next to be added is your brokerage fee of 7,230 pesos and 8 cents. Next is your warpage due of 779 pesos and 5 cents. Next is your arrastre of 8,551 pesos. Next is your CDS, which is 280. And lastly, adding your IPF of 1,000 for a total landed cost of 1,781,522 pesos and 84 cents. Okay, so our second to the last step is computing your value-added tax or VAT. So since alam na natin yung landed cost, wala pong na-mention na excise tax. So we just multiply our LC with the VAT rate of 12%, arriving with a value-added tax of 213,782 pesos and 74 cents. And our last step, step 9, okay, we summarize the components of our total duties, taxes, and other charges. Start with your customs duty of 17,441, value-added tax of 213,783, import processing fee of 1,000, container security fee of 484 pesos. Kinonvert na po natin yung $10, no? Per 40 footer, multiply the given exchange rate. Then yung fixed na CDS of 280 pesos for a total of 232,988 pesos. So please take note po, no, yung rounding off rules natin. No, nakita nyo po lahat po ito, wala na pong decimal, full numbers po siya lahat. So again, just to reiterate, yung ating pag-round off kapag 0.5, less than 0.5, okay, tanggalin na po natin yung cents. Pero kapag 0.5 and above siya, round off to the nearest whole number. Parang katulad po niyan, yung sa VAT nyo. Diba po, ang VAT natin is 213,782.74. Nung nilipat natin sa summary, since 0.74 siya, so round up to the nearest whole number, naging 213,783 pesos. Okay. That ends our discussion on how to compute duties, taxes, and other charges for containerized cargoes discharged at the South Harbor or MICP. Hope we were able to equip you better in understanding this very technical world of international trade. Please do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button on our Port Calls YouTube channel videos. Thank you and stay safe.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Port Calls YouTube channel. Today we are going to share with you a webinar we co-organized with the Philippine Multimodal Transport and Logistics Association. This webinar is entitled How to Ensure Forwarder Compliance with BOC, E2M, CPRS.
Find them on
What
our
do we
listening
expect in
posts.
this
The
webinar?
monastery
The
is
following
complete.
will be discussed.
Sergeants will
Recent
inspire your
developments that
Space
directly
Marine squads to
impact
greater
forwarders
feats of heroism,
and
and rocket launchers will make short work of
BOC
Orc.
CPRS
Beware the
registration.
alien.
What is BOC Client Profile Registration System, CPRS, in the first place for sea freight forwarders, NVOCCs, and consolidators? The three most important N's will be discussed, and these are your TIN, URN, and CCN. The different types of CPRS status. How do you check online on the current status of forwarders CPRS in the BOC system? And detailed procedures on BOC CPRS registration for forwarders, NVOCCs, and consolidators. These and many more will be discussed and explained in this webinar. To do the welcome remarks as the President of the Philippine Multimodal Transport and Logistics Association, Ms.
We must
Marilyn
upgrade an
Alberto.
existing listening post with
Good
the
morning,
fortified
everyone.
position add-on.
On behalf
This
of the
upgrade
Philippine
will increase the
Multimodal
requisition
Transport and
income
Logistics
and add better
Association,
defenses to the listening
ACOF,
post.
CDEC, and Port Calls, we would like to thank you for joining this webinar. During the past 3 weeks, we have learned that many forwarders, consolidators, have encountered delays in the transfer of LCL containers to off-dock CFS because of a new BOC E2M system rule wherein forwarders, consolidators, CPRS registration is inactive or expired, and customs clearance of container transfer is not allowed by the system.
Yes,
I have also heard that until now, some forwarders are still unable to transfer their LCL containers because
The
of
listening
number one,
post is now earning
their
more
accreditation
requisition,
renewal
has better
with
armor
DTI
against enemy
FTEB
attacks,
is still on
and has a
process,
gun
and
in
number
placement
two,
to strike back.
forwarder registration in BOC E2M CPRS is expired. This morning, CDEC will conduct briefing on how to ensure forwarder compliance with the BOC E2M CPRS. We have also reached out to DTI FTEB to join us today. While they are not officially designated as speakers, Ms. Lucy Salili and her FTEB team will be here as observers and hopefully assist us in case you have any questions for DTI FTEB. Thank you, and we hope that this webinar will be of help in expediting your compliance
Today, the
to the
enemy shall know
BOC
fear.
E2M CPRS. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you, Ms. Marilyn Alberto. Thank you so much. Let me proceed with introducing our speakers for this morning. We have a gentleman and a lady. Mr. Leo V. Morada is an expert on technology solutions for trade compliance and logistics, encompassing customs clearance, port authority clearance, economic zone documentation processing, sea freight container terminal, general cargo port operations, air freight cargo warehouse and ground handling operations, with 35 years of executive management and senior ICT management work experience since 1986. Mr. Morada specialized in the development, implementation, and project management of information technology, IT solutions in the Philippine ports and logistics operations from 1986 to 2002 as IT manager of 3 leading Philippine ports and logistics service providers, cargo handling operators in the Port of Manila. These are Marina Port Services Incorporated, 7R Port Services Incorporated, and Asian Terminals Incorporated.
Walk softly.
Currently, he is the Chief Executive Officer of Cargo Data Exchange Center Incorporated, or CDEC. This is a value-added service provider, VASP, of the Bureau of Customs, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, PEZA, and Clark Development Corporation, CDC. Together with Mr. Morada is Ms. Angelica De Luna. She is a Senior Account Manager of CDEC also. Her current role and responsibility encompasses sales and marketing account coverage of freight forwarders, customs brokers, and import-exporters based in the National Capital Region. Among the recent CDEC VASP new services she successfully implemented are automated bonds management system and advanced submission of freight forwarder electronic manifest to the World Customs Organization cargo, targeting System, WCOCTS,
On alert,
and Philippine
brothers.
Customs.
The enemy
Ladies and
must be
gentlemen,
nearby.
Mr. Leo Morada
Nice
and
face.
Angelica De Luna.
Ever vigilant.
Okay, so we
What's
designed
yours?
this presentation in such a manner that it can actually serve as a quick user guide
What is your
for
order?
our
Under
participants
fire.
on how to comply
Beware
with the
the alien.
Bureau of Customs E2M
Direct us to the
client
enemy.
profile registration
Lining up our
system.
targets.
So instead of, we took this opportunity, so since we are actually disseminating information, we wanted this
Awaiting
this
orders.
presentation, which I know will be
Awaiting
also
orders.
provided by port calls and PMT Live to all the
Heresy grows from
participants.
idleness.
So it will actually be a quick
Gathering intelligence.
user guide for everyone's
Lining
immediate
up our
use.
targets.
Thank you, Angel. Could you go to the next slide?
What is your order?
Okay, so this is our presentation outline.
Gathering intelligence.
First, I have to explain. Thank you, Ms. Mariel and
Lining up our
Mrs.
targets.
Alberto for giving an idea what is the trigger for this webinar.
Scouts charge.
So we will explain to you the recent enhancements
Scouts
in the Bureau
charge.
of Customs system that before March 1, 2022, there was no such requirement,
What
but
would you
starting
have
March
me do?
1, the
Moving
mandatory
out. Ever vigilant.
updated CTRS
Commencing
of our freight
infantry.
forwarders is required in order for customs to electronically
Today,
approve
the
the
enemy shall
transfer of
know.
containers, LCL containers from the port to our
Direct
off-dock
us to the enemy.
CFS operators. Okay. So the second topic,
At your command.
with this more detailed
Awaiting
actually,
orders.
so we'll talk about
Direct us
BOC
to the
client
enemy.
profile
Weapons
registration.
at ready. Fear
As
denies
if
faith.
this brings
At
me
your
back to the
command.
year 2009
We stand ready.
when we started, as
We
a service
stand
provider
ready.
custom, we
None
started
shall stop
to
us. Attacking.
ask
Awaiting
all our
orders.
stakeholders to
Weapons
go
at
through
ready.
the CTRS
Vigilant.
registration. So we're very happy
Faith
to
is our
share this
shield.
detailed information about this. And then we'll give you some readily
Beware
available
the alien.
free
The mutant.
Yes, my
online
lord.
facilities to verify your forward
Moving out. Fear
status,
denies faith.
CPR status in
Direct
the
us to the
customs
enemy.
system. And of course,
Ever vigilant.
at the end of the presentation, we expect you to be able to understand
Yes, Lord.
all the necessary
I shall
procedures you have to
obey.
go through, and we have some important announcements later. Thank you, Angel. Okay, it all started with a
Commencing
At your
official
command.
memorandum
Fear
from the
our wrath.
Deputy Commissioner of the Bureau of Customs Management and
The area
Information
is secure.
Systems
Beneficent
Technology
one,
Group,
with all due
Alert,
informing
brothers.
us
The enemy
that
must be nearby.
there is a new system enhancement
My
to the Bureau of
faith is my
Customs system,
shield.
wherein the forwarder tax identification
Maintain
number
attack formation.
will be required as mandatory
received.
data in the
Moving out.
E2M
Beware,
transit
brothers.
permit.
That
Attacking
mechanical
as
monster
ordered.
is a killer
So we'll
So we'll
cat.
explain to
It
you
is
what is the
devastating in
transit
close
permit.
quarters
Orders
fighting,
received.
and
This
its
is
armored
the
hide will shrug off small
electronic
arms
document.
power. We must equip
submitted
ourselves with missile
by
launchers
our
if we are to
off-dock
destroy the
Taking down
abomination.
Yes, my lord.
operators
Moving
to the
out.
Bureau of Customs system, which is the basis for customs to
He who stands with me shall
give
be
electronic
my
clearance
Ready.
and approval
Commencing
for the
attack.
transfer of
Ever
LCL
vigilant.
containers from the port
Orders received. Yes, my lord.
to the off-dock
Onward.
CFS. This is
Awaiting
the
orders.
not only for the
Engaging
Port
the
of Manila, Manila International Container Port, as well as Cebu International Port. So
The
the system
Emperor
is automated,
protects.
so much so that the transit permit that our off-dock operators
We're here.
submit through
Yes,
CDEC,
my lord.
the CDEC system, that's processed and ultimately approved by the Deputy Collector for Operations of Customs within the E2M system. An electronic release instruction is then transmitted to our port
Reporting,
operators,
sir.
Asian terminals, and ICTSI.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it's an information supply chain loop that is fully automated. And when we say fully automated, if something goes wrong, it's one part of that information supply chain. The process cannot proceed. Okay. Next.
The Emperor protects. The Emperor protects.
Okay, so this is the copy of the official memorandum. So what we did is we disseminated and we held an orientation session for the members of the Association of CFS, CYCFS of the operators of the Philippines, to help them understand what are the changes, because they are the ones who will use the electronic transit permit.
The Emperor.
So if you look at item number 2, the official memorandum states that the validation of the status of the forwarder in the client profile registration system will now be matched with the transit permit. So only forwarders with active accreditation in the CPRS system, in customs database, will be accepted insofar as the transit permit is concerned. Okay? So this memorandum doesn't speak in behalf of DTI, because DTI is the accrediting agency for all our freight forwarders. This official memorandum focuses on client profile registration within the customs system.
Understood.
Yes,
okay.
Lord.
So what happened is that on March 1, we had a lot of calls from all the members of ACOP, because many electronic transit permit lodgements were rejected by the customs system, for the simple reason that the CPRS of the forwarder is either inactive, expired, or no record found. So this is a showstopper.
Reporting, sir.
No LCL container can be transferred. Can be allowed by the customs system to transfer.
My brother.
March 1. So that was a big problem for us and for the operators. Okay, let me take a few seconds to explain. This is the transit permit. The freight forwarders do not, see this.
Yes, my lord.
You are not the ones who lodge this to I2M. It is actually your designated off-dock CFS operator. So the forwarder team is there. Before March 1, it was not there. So what happens then is when this is submitted by the off-dock CFS operator, the customs system will look at the tax identification number and search for the corresponding CPRS status in the customs system. If the status is inactive, no record found, expired, then it will reject the transit permit. So you see, that's an example there of an error message, which our off-dock operators see. It's that we have an error. So we had to do something about this.
Scouts ready, getting into position.
Okay. So we collaborated with the members of ACOP to resolve delays. So the first thing we do was to help explain to our off-dock operators, this is a system problem. The only option we have is to ask for consideration from the Office of the Deputy Commissioner, MISTD, for a temporary procedure wherein the customs system will allow lodgement of the transit permit, even if the forwarder CPRS registration is expired.
Attacking as ordered.
So they favorably considered our request. That's why for the period March 2 to 4, the transfer of LCL containers from the terminals were
commencing infiltration.
But after, as effective March 5, they had to strictly implement again the CPRS checking.
Yes, my lord.
And on March 10,
It's danger.
because we had so many forwarders calling us for assistance, I had to directly communicate with Miss Lucy Salili. Okay, Ma'am Lucy, please bear with us for during that time because of the problems encountered by our third-party stakeholders. So Miss Lucy and her team informed us that they also, were experiencing a sudden surge of forwarded requests for CPRS registration, which is done to their office as a first step, as well as the updating of the accreditation of many forwarders with the FTED.
I shall obey.
The problem was came at a critical point, so that on March 11, a total of 35 containers in Port of Manila, MIP, and Cebu cannot be transferred to the OFTAC CFS because of this CPRS problem.
In position.
35 containers
commencing
encompassing 18 forwarders. So we had to go again to the office of the Deputy Commissioner for MIS to allow us to have a temporary procedure. This is our second request.
None shall stop us.
So this was favorably approved. But as of today, March 17, the mandatory checking of your CPRS registration will again be strictly implemented by the customs system. So hopefully, all our forwarders already who have LCL containers, LCL shipments, have already, completed their compliance with the customs CPRS system. So we'll keep everyone informed, specifically our APOC members here, because any delay, in releasing the container, we know very well the after effect. The longer it stays in the port, so you have your demurrage charges, and all our importers who have LCL shipments will be following up why is it that their shipments are not yet at the OFTAC CFS.
Today the enemy shall know fear.
Angel? Okay. So I'll be the one to do an introduction of the CPRS system. Angel will do the detailed procedures. So what is CPRS? Well, as an integral component of the customs processing
we are
system.
United in his
the customs system, which we know is called E2M, Automobile.
Awaiting orders.
Okay, let me clarify. All stakeholders who have valid and updated CPRS registration are the only ones authorized to undertake electronic transactions with customs. Now, who are the stakeholders that comply, must comply with CPRS?
At your command.
Airline,
my lord.
Shipping line, freight forwarders, importers, exporters, our customs brokers, our arrastre operators, ATI, ICSI, they all comply with CPRS registration. All our OFTAC CFS,
we'll get through this.
all our sea freight and air freight cargo warehouses in the airports, they have to go through CPRS registration.
Direct us to the enemy.
Private commercial ports like Harbor Service or the Davao International Container Terminal.
Scouts awaiting orders. While the enemies of the Emperor still draw
Surety
breath,
companies
there can be no peace.
for the banks management, they are required to undergo CPRS registration.
Today, the enemy shall
Your CPRS registration in customs is renewed annually. And a stakeholder may actually have more than one CPRS registration. So for instance, if Leo company, I'm an importer, so I must have my CPRS registration as importer.
Scouts advance.
Then I also export, so I must have another CPRS registration as exporter. Now, when we requested for consideration from the Office of Deputy Commissioner MISTG to relax the rule for the forwarders insofar as the transfer of LCL containers,
we stand ready.
We were informed
at your command.
Many forwarders, the CPRS registration of many forwarders expired 2017, 2018.
The Emperor protects.
And very few have actually attempted to update them. So this was also a shock to us.
Today,
That
the
gave
enemy
us
shall
the
not
added
fear.
urgency why we have to reach out to PMTLI with the support of ACOP to help resolve this
Beware the
situation.
alien, the mutant.
Indian
We're here.
heretic.
We're here. The Emperor protects.
Okay. So we have a
We're here.
self-check. You do not have to read the entire
At your command.
customs memorandum orders on E2M in order to understand how you will comply with CPRS. You just answer 4 questions. Number 1, do you have your username and password issued by DTI FTED for the purpose of the forwarder having access to
At your command.
POC CPRS
Search commencing.
system? Number
Reporting,
2,
sir.
do you have your
Yes, my lord.
URN, unique reference number, provided also by DTI FTED? Number 3,
Yes, my lord.
do you have your
Maintain
CCN?
attack formation.
So as Mariel said, the very important N,
Ever
customs
vigilant.
client number, that is automatically generated by
your
the
instructions.
Bureau of Customs CPRS system when you complete your registration. Number 4, do you have a PDF
At your
copy of
command.
your certificate
Gathering
of
intelligence.
registration, wherein
I sense
your
danger.
customs
We will root
client
it out.
number is
Gathering
clearly
intelligence.
indicated? Okay.
Gathering intelligence.
If you answer no
Getting into position.
The
to any
enemy
one
is
of these,
attacking.
that means to say you have to start the process immediately for CPRS registration.
I sense danger.
Yes.
We will root it out.
Okay. So let us remove the mystery from this URN and
position.
CCN.
Gathering intelligence.
So your URN as a freight forwarder
I sense
starts
danger.
with
We will root it out.
the alphabet,
ahead
3-character
and mark
alphabet.
any
reference,
enemy
the
positions.
SP. I think
We
it
stand
started way
ready.
back when it was
Awaiting
the Philippine
orders.
Shippers Bureau was the one who was the one in charge of accreditation of freight forwarders.
Heresy grows from
Okay,
idleness.
so it's a 7 alphanumeric.
Today,
URN.
the enemy shall know fear.
Now, what is the CCN? The CCN,
Yes, my
custom client
lord.
number, you will receive that
Faith is our shield.
once your
Lining up our
CPRS
targets.
registration is approved
Awaiting
by the Bureau of
orders.
Customs system.
While
So
the enemies
it
of the
always
Emperor
starts with
still
an
draw breath,
FW
there can be no
for the
Yours.
freight forwarders. Okay. So for your
Heresy
for
grows
your
from
reference,
idleness.
the customs
Heresy
broker
grows from idleness.
CCN
Scouts in
starts
position.
with a
On patrol.
letter.
Praise the Emperor.
The 2
This
characters
day shall be a
BR.
glorious
What's your
one
order?
for the Imperium.
Importer starts with
Heresy
IM.
grows from idleness.
Exporter
Scouts in
starts with
position.
EX. Airline
Heresy
starts
grows from
with
idleness.
AL. And the
Heresy
shipping
grows
line,
from idleness.
CCN starts with
Awaiting orders.
SL.
Fear our wrath.
So
Awaiting orders.
Beware
that's how
the
it is.
alien,
You should have that.
the mutant.
If you have your TIN number, then
We
you
are
should
the
have your
Emperor's chosen.
PSB,
Fallen!
unique
Attacking
reference
as
number from
ordered.
DTI FTEP and your CCN.
Direct us to the
So,
enemy.
Rally
just
squad!
At your
just
command.
remember these 3
Attacking as ordered.
ends.
We stand ready.
So next,
Fall
Inyo.
back and regroup.
Okay. The custom system
Scouts awaiting
gives
This day
automatic
shall be a glorious one for the Imperium.
Yes, my lord.
notifications
Yes, sir.
by email for each
Yes, my
process
lord.
of the CPRS registration. So the first is stored. Okay.
Orders
Then
received.
accredited.
On
This is the
march.
most important.
To guard
Activated.
us to the enemy.
The worst is if you receive
Moving out.
expired. It's an email notification.
Direct
So
us to the enemy.
I
taking
hope
damage.
our participants
Ever
would not mind the
While the
NJ,
enemies of the Emperor still
because
draw breath, there
I
can
always
be
find
no
this
peace.
in the younger generation. I belong to the
We are the Emperor's chosen.
older generation. So I think
Area
everyone can
secured.
relate to, stakeholder
Taking
reaction
damage.
if you receive such
As
notification.
you wish.
Okay,
Build
Angel.
routine
Scouts
7 to
awaiting
1
orders.
initiated.
We will move ahead.
I think we have
Scouts
to-
in position. Enemy
okay.
positions. We will
We
move
have to
ahead
start
and mark
at this
any
point
enemy
to-
positions.
Today
to
the
show our
enemy shall know
forwarders.
fear.
Okay. First
He
is
who stands with me shall be my brother.
this is
Purge.
DTI.
Kill.
Okay, this is from the DTI website.
Ever
You can
vigilant.
access anytime.
Fear
And
of
as service
wrath.
provider, CDEC, once in a
Orders
while
received,
looks
brother.
at this
Orders
website
received.
and look
Stay
at the
vigilant,
list of
brothers.
accredited service providers. So
What
it
is
generates
your
a list of
fear
all
denies
the
faith.
the
We are the
accredited
Emperor's chosen.
freight forwarders,
Heresy
including
grows
the
from
expiry date.
idleness. Understood.
So
We
no
are
need
the
to
Emperor's
register. You
chosen.
just go to DTI
Stay
website
vigilant.
and
We
double
are
click
the
on
Emperor's
this.
chosen. Ever vigilant. Heresy grows from
Okay.
idleness.
Now
Faith is
we're happy
What would you
to
have me
share
do?
with you. You can actually verify your
Space
status
Marines,
or
advance.
CPRS status in the custom system
Heresy grows from idleness.
anytime.
We are the
Look at the
Emperor's
link.
chosen.
For those of you who
The
are in their
Emperor protects.
offices and
Taking
it will not
The
distract
Emperor
you, you can
protects.
actually type in
What's your order?
Google,
Orders
Chrome,
received.
or
Awaiting
Microsoft.
orders.
It's
Fear
type
denies. Direct us to the
cprs.customs.gov.ph.
enemy.
It will open
Flames.
up in
What is
the
your order?
screen.
Kill.
You select forwarder on the client type.
What would you have
Input
me
your
do?
company TIN.
What is your
The
order?
custom system will show you
What would you have me
what
do?
is the status of your
Ever vigilant.
CPRS
Objective log.
registration. Whether it's active, if it's active, there's an expiry
At
date.
your command.
If it's
What's your
expired,
order? Ever vigilant.
it will show you
Moving
what
out.
date it was expired. Okay, please take note. Your company may be in the list of accredited freight forwarders based on the DTI website, but
I
hopefully
must speak
you
with
will
the
have an
captain.
active CPRS.
He is giving the
in
Emperor
customs
his
website.
praise.
If
Leave him
not,
this moment.
Yes, brother librarian.
I encourage
We
everyone
completed
to,
our sweep
to
of the
take
area
time to check
and can
this right
find
now.
no more
It will
orcs.
not distract you
Indeed.
from this
Tell your
presentation.
squad to move ahead and clear the company's
You will
path.
immediately know
Yes,
what the
brother
status of
librarian.
your CPRS. Okay. Now this is the third website that you have to go to. Okay. Now this is
I will suffer
we
no
call this
trespass.
the Bureau of Customs, OGA, or other government agency website. So you need a username and password to access this. This is the website where the freight forwarder will actually encode
The Orc
mandatory
invasion is
data
far more
requirements
serious
for
than we originally
your
imagined.
CPRS.
The Imperial
How do
Navy,
you
with the
access
help
this
of the
website?
Blood Ravens battle barge, the Litany of Fury, has regained
DTIF,
tenuous
the
control
team
of the
of Miss
space
Lucy
around the
Salini,
planet.
will be the one
However,
to
the number of Orc troops
provide
and
you that.
supplies that have reached
Okay.
planet side
So three
far
websites. One is
exceeds our
DTI,
original
that's the
estimates.
checklist of all the
The Orc menace
latest
is spread
accredited
throughout the low
forwarders.
population
The
areas of
second
the
one
planet.
is the customs website,
Civilians are fleeing in mass to the cities,
cprs.customs.gov.ph,
where they
for
hope the higher
status of your,
concentration of Imperial Guard can protect them.
CPRS.
Due
And
to
the
our
third
recent
is the
actions,
website
we were
of
able to
the Bureau of
destroy
Customs
several
Other Government
Orc
Agency
forward
portal,
encampments and kill
wherein
many
the
of
freight
their
forwarders
leaders.
will
So we can expect
register
at
with
least a brief
CPRS.
respite from further
Okay.
Orc attacks in this area.
You do not need
The
a
Blood
service
Ravens
provider
have
like
returned
CDEC
to the capital city
to
of
encode your
Magna Bonum
CPRS
to
if you
prepare
are
the
a freight
defenses
forwarder.
during this downtime.
This is different in the case of customs brokers and importers, wherein you have to go to CDEC to get our get our services. Here you have to do it on your own. So we'll explain to you in detail how it's done. The information required
Brother
are really,
Mateo,
most of them
second
are found
squad is
already
to
in
man those
the
buildings opposite the market
company
streets. Go!
corporate information that you already provide with
Brother Tantheus, take
as part
Ninth
of
Squad
your
and shore up our
application for
defenses along our
accreditation
southern flank.
with the
We
airport.
need those gun emplacements operational.
Okay, next, Angel, please. Okay, so at this point,
That is
I
correct,
will
Brother
now
Corrales. Begin executing
ask
Protocol
Angel
18.
to
We will silence that Orc
explain the
artillery.
detailed procedures on how the
My
CPRS
lord,
system
I have taken the liberty of stationing my
accessible
Imperial
in the
Guard around the key
BOC
facilities, including the
OTA
spaceport and
portal,
power plant. Your initiative is
works.
admirable, Colonel.
Okay, Angel,
But I
please.
need you to pull your men back to this location where they can concentrate their defense.
Hello, good morning, everyone. So for you
But
to
if we abandon the
access
spaceport,
BOC
we cannot
other
hold the
government
spaceport,
agency
Colonel.
system,
We
you
have to
need
maximize our
first
defense
to
in one
download
location to
and
assure
access.
victory.
So the
Do
link that
not
Sir
mistake the
Leo
Orc's simple
presented a
manner
while
for
ago,
stupidity.
so you you need
They
to
are far
click
more
that
cunning
link
than they may
and
seem.
download it to your
Now
PC or to your laptop. So some of you have
Yes, my lord.
errors
I do not agree with this
when they
course of
are
action.
clicking those
Why are we
links.
sitting back waiting
So
for the
you
orcs to
need
strike?
have
We should
JavaScript
attack!
specifications
Surely it is better
on
than
your
doing
PC
nothing.
or on your laptop.
You would have
in
us meet the
order
orcs
for
on open
you
ground?
to
That would be
access
madness.
this website.
It is written in the Codex Astartes that
So
this
to use
situation
this
calls for a
website, you
defensive
have
action.
username
Of
and
course.
password
You
provided
are
by
right.
FTED.
Perhaps
So its
patience is the
forwarders
better virtue
accredited
here.
by DTIFTED have a username and password. So you have different username and passwords
Brothers,
for each
the orcs have
forwarder.
overrun the city. This
So
transgression
we
shall
have
not
here two
stand.
steps
We will
for
fight
the
until the
CPRS
last
of
Get
the
through this, I
forwarders.
know it.
Number
Heavy
one
assault
is for
turrets
those
have been made
new
available to
forwarders,
us. Be
and the
sure to
other
place
one
their
is
defensive
for
power
those
wisely.
forwarders
Landmines
that
are now available for placement
are
in our
doing the
enemy's
renewal
path.
of
Yes,
their
sir.
CPRS.
We're here.
So the first one,
My
how do
knowledge
we
is at your
create
disposal.
CPRS
My
as
faith
a
is my
forwarder?
shield.
So you need to log in with your
Faith,
account.
and you
then
maintain an
click
iron
this
grip
file
on the
button,
city's strategic points.
then
We must
click
break
the
their
new
hold
client
and deny
profile.
the orcs their supplies.
So these are the required
Reporting,
fields
sir.
that you
We'll
need
get
to
through
fill
this,
in
I
on
know
your
it.
CPRS
The Emperor
profile. This is
protects.
the same fields
Objective
that
Yes, my
you
lord.
can check for the
For the Emperor,
importer
your command.
as well as the
Objective
airline.
logged.
So there
The
are the
Emperor
same
protects.
fields that DOC-E2M required
Yes, sir.
for
We'll get through this, I
CPRS
know it.
registration.
Reporting, sir.
The first
Yes,
one
sir.
is the client
Here to
profile
serve.
information. So with this
Orcs,
part,
enemies attacking.
the details that
We're
you
here.
have provided with DTIFTED for your accreditation are almost the same details that you're going to use on your CPRS profile. So with the client profile information, the client type is automatic
do
with your
as you
account.
ask.
It is under
Fear
forwarder
denies
with the
faith.
client type, nature of business, and the most important part is your business name. You need to provide
The
your
Emperor
business name,
protects.
and if your business name or
Yes,
the
my
characters
lord.
of your business
Yes, my
name
lord.
is too
The
long
Emperor
for
protects.
this field, you need to fill it in
Securing
on the
objective.
address.
Yes, my lord.
Also, the photo that you're going to
I
attach, the
stand
company
ready.
logo
most
for the photo, and take note that the
Marine squad
photo should
deployed.
be
do
in JPEG format.
We're here.
Please also be
We're here.
noted that those red
Awaiting
marks
orders.
or those
Maintain it.
red
Yes,
fields
my lord.
are the mandatory fields. Now, we'll go to the
Yes,
email.
my lord.
This part is the very important part of the client
Maintain
profile
attack.
We're here.
information
Take
because
Reporting, sir.
the email that you're going to
At your
input
command.
with this
Stay
profile
within orders.
is the same
Orders
email
received.
that will receive the notification
Yes, my
coming
lord.
from DOC. So with CPRS, there is a
At
specific
your command,
automatic
my lord.
notification
Yes, sir.
for
Yes,
the
sir.
statuses of your
We're here.
CPRS.
We'll get through this, I know
Now,
it.
your TIN number, so the 12-digit TIN number registered by DIR, and your primary VAS PCC.
Yes,
So
Lord.
please take note of CDEC's primary VAS PCCN. So I just want to
Initializing
to
Emperor's
correct this
chosen.
one.
We stand
CDEC's
ready.
primary VAS PCCN number is
The Emperor protects.
0000000.
We are united in
Yes,
his
Seven,
service.
Assistant One.
That is the CDEC primary VAS PCCN. So
I will do
please
as you
take
ask.
note to use this VAS PCCN. It is part of the requirement, or this is
We're
a
here.
mandatory
We'll get
part.
through this,
As
I
well
know
as
it.
if you use this one, or if you input this one, also the notification email
What's your
for the
order?
statuses, for example,
Onward
the
to
stored
glory.
notification
Yes,
email, or
most
even the
beneficent one.
reminder
We stand
that
ready.
your CPRS
Onward
is
to glory. The
for
enemy is attacking.
expiration. So it will be also sent out to our email. So CDEC is
Walk
also
softly
receiving
and carry a
notification
big gun.
if the
Reporting, sir.
forwarders
Knowledge is
are
power.
using
Hide
our
it
VAS
well.
PCCN number. So
We stand ready.
if this part is already complete, we need to go to the plant address. So with the plant address, as you can see, it's not a mandatory
Yes,
part. So
most
this
beneficent
field
one.
is not red highlighted. So with the plant address, if you can provide, for example, the plant address that you can input in here is the address of your company.
With all
Then
due haste.
the major stockholder. With the major stockholder, so you can provide, for example, if the major stockholder of your company is also a company, you can input in the first name the company name. But if the major stockholder of your company is an individual, for example, me, Angelica De Luna, so I can input here my first name, middle name, last name, as well as my photo and signature.
While the enemies of the Emperor still draw breath, there can be
you need
no
also
peace.
to provide photo and signature. For an individual, provide the signature that is readable and or in HD format.
Awaiting orders.
Also,
Yes,
the photo
Lord.
should be in JPEG format. While
I
for
exist
those
to serve.
forwarder
With all due
here
haste.
that the major stockholders are also a
This
company,
day shall be a
you can
glorious
provide
one for the
the
Imperium.
logo on the photo and signature itself. Now, the principal officer. For the principal
Position
officer,
secure.
same thing.
My knowledge
With the
is at your
principal
disposal.
officer, also you can provide
serve.
up to 5 principal officers if you have. So same thing, the requirement, you need to input all those red highlighted part. And also
Knowledge
the
is
photos
power.
and
Hide
signatures
it well.
are in JPEG format. And if the principal officers of your company
I
are
await your
foreigners,
instructions.
if they
With
do not
all due
have yet
haste.
the team here in the Philippines,
Yes,
you can use
most beneficent
000.
one.
So 12-0. For the responsible
Initializing
officer,
build protocol.
same thing. They need to provide the photo
With
and
all due
signature.
haste.
And if the responsible
With all due
officers,
haste.
you have too many
Build
responsible
routine
officers per
721
company,
initiated.
you can
Build routine
input up to
721
5
initiated.
responsible officers.
Initializing build protocol.
The next one is the major client. With the
My
major
knowledge is
client
at your
part,
disposal.
this is not a required field. So as you can
Fear
see,
not the
all the
psycho.
fields in here are
The Emperor
in white
protects.
fields. So this is not
The Emperor protects.
mandatory field for your CPR.
This day shall
Now,
be a
if you are
glorious
done
one for the
with your
Imperium.
The enemy
CPRS,
is attacking.
you can click this part, this icon, the one that has
Agreed.
X and check mark. For
For
this
the glory
one, you can
of the
able
Emperor.
to
Fear
recheck
denies faith.
if you have some fields that
Hope
you
is the
have
first step
missed.
on the road to
For example,
disappointment.
you have missed
You
the
are
part
prepared,
of
my
the,
brothers. Fear not the psycho.
email for your responsible officer. You can
We shall
able to
stand shoulder
recheck
to shoulder,
this
my
part
brothers.
of your
Do I
CPRS.
detect uncertainty in your purpose?
Do you miss? For example,
The Emperor
also
protects.
some parts of your
Well, here.
CPRS are those non-required
Ever
field.
vigilant.
You can also recheck with this part. What are the fields
Here
that
to
are not
serve.
mandatory? So if you want to save now your CPRS, click this button. And for you to send your CPRS as a new forwarder, you need to click this button. So I
Yes,
think you can
most
see my
beneficent
arrow,
one.
my cursor here. So this arrow, this is the send button.
Yes, Lord.
So before you send your CPRS, please check all the
Initializing
details
build
if correct.
protocol.
Otherwise, you will go
Awaiting
through
orders.
amendment. So before
Reporting,
you
sir.
store your CPRS or before you send it, you need to recheck all the fields that you have filled in. And just
Yes,
to add,
most
this
beneficent one.
part, when you click the save button, an XML file
Here to
copy of your CPRS
Yes,
will be
Lord.
downloaded
Build routine
and saved
721
on your
initiated.
laptop or your PC. So to print, you have here this icon, the printer icon, where you can able to print your CPRS profile. Okay, the next one is on how to renew your CPRS as a forwarder. Same thing, kung the username and password that DTIFTTB issued to you. So you need to input your username and password as a forwarder. So click the file button, then click renew.
The Emperor has abandoned us!
Scouts reporting for duty.
The Emperor
So
protects.
to renew a CPRS, since for example,
Yes,
your
my
previous
lord.
CPRS file, automatic the XML file is
Scouts
saved
reporting
on
for
your
duty.
laptop or PC. You can able to reuse that XML file for your renew one. It's also for the convenience of the stakeholders. Since it will also took time and effort for the
Orders received.
Yes, my lord.
so
Following
with the
orders.
CPRS renewal, and also you can renew or create CPRS
Yes,
into
my lord.
two options.
The Emperor protects.
XML
Following
uploading
orders.
and also re-encoding
Awaiting
again.
orders.
Reporting,
Okay?
sir.
So to upload the XML file, you need to click this button.
Regroup!
So
Scouts here.
XML file, this part, this is an IT word, or wherein this is the all of our transactions with the Bureau of Customs, your manifest, CPRS, and all, even the PSAD are in XML file.
Ready.
So this is a file type.
Yes, Lord. Yes,
This
Lord.
is the file type requirement of the Bureau of Customs. So all the trade
I shall
compliance
obey.
requirement being sent out to E2M system are in XML
I
file.
exist to serve.
So
As
to
you wish.
upload the XML
Yes,
file,
Lord.
click this button, then click the
Yes, my
XML
lord.
file of your forwarder's profile for the new one. So for example, I have here
Scouts
my
here.
forwarder,
The Emperor
my
protects.
forwarder's XML file.
Scouts
CPRS,
ready.
so this is
At
their
your command,
previous
getting into position.
CPRS
Run for
profile.
your
And I
lives!
think there's
Yes,
no
my lord.
revisions.
Marine
All
squad
the
deployed.
officers are still the same,
At your
even their
command.
addresses and mobile numbers. So I'll just click this
Maintain
XML
attack
file
formation.
and
Reporting,
click
sir.
open.
The Emperor
So when you
protects.
click open, your
We are the Imperial
details or
Guard.
your
It is
previous
time we started
XML
acting
or
like
previous
it.
Moving
CPRS
out.
will be
Onward to
auto-populated
glory.
on your CPRS profile.
Direct us to the enemy.
Also,
Marine squad
if
deployed.
Reporting, sir.
you upload
Walk softly
you upload
and
CPRS
carry a
for
big
renewal
gun.
using
We are
XML
the
file, you can
Emperor's
able
chosen.
to edit out those fields. For example, on your XML file, the responsible officer is not yet connected on the company. So you can
We
also
are the
update
Emperor's
that one.
chosen. Yes, my lord.
So this is the part wherein I
Marine squad
uploaded the
deployed.
CPRS profile of my client. Then
Direct us to the enemy.
once the I hit the
Taking
open
haste.
I
button,
await
so
your instructions.
and all the details are complete, you just need to click the check button to send your CPRS. So for the renewal of CPRS, for you
Yes,
to
most
send, this is
beneficent
the
one.
button that
Build
you
routine
The
set
Emperor
to 1
protects.
while
initiated.
for new CPRS, you need to click this
Ever vigilant.
button for that send. So two different ways on how to send CPRS.
Maintain attack
For the new
formation.
CPRS, you need to click this to this for you to send. And for the renewal, you
Awaiting
need
orders.
to click this check button. Also for the renewal, you can able to have a rechecking part.
We stand ready. Awaiting orders.
It's some kind
Weapons
of
at ready.
validating
It
if
is
you miss
time.
something on your CPRS
Scouts
profile.
ready. I sense danger. We will root it out. Yes,
So,
my lord.
The next one is the email
your command.
notification of stored
Gathering
CPR.
intelligence.
This is the reason why I told you a while
Scouts
ago
ready.
that you need to use
Scouts
CDEC
advance.
CCN. So our CDEC VASP CCN
The
VA
blasted orcs have built their infernal structures within the city walls. Destroying these structures is
So
vital
that is
if we are to regain
CDEC VASP
control over the
CCN
city.
number. So there are some instances that forwarders do not receive this
Taking
notification.
hits.
Today,
and if that
the enemy shall
happens
know
to you,
fear.
and you use our CCN number, CDEC can provide you the email notification. Some of your clients also are asking you, can you please call CDEC? Maybe CDEC received the notification. This is the reason why. On their CPRS, the VASP CCN number that they inputted as our VASP
initiated.
So once your CPRS is stored, automatically on the email that you have provided on your client profile,
following orders.
Email notification of stored CPRS will be sent out, or you will receive this sample of email notification, as well as the notification of your active CPRS. For those forwarders here that have an expired CPRS, for example, last January and then this March, this is the time na nag-renew sila. So mostly of you,
yes, my lord,
you received na this kind of notification. Renewed expired active. Meaning, your previously expired CPRS is already renewed and now have an active status. So you are now, again, an active forwarder, that can receive COR coming from the Bureau of Customs. Because you cannot receive BOC COR if your CPRS status is not yet active. So as Sir Leo mentioned a while ago, they have stored accredited active CPRS status. And the most important part, or the most important status that you need to have, is the active
my
one.
Faith is my
that
shield.
Is the last step.
Follow my lead.
CPRS.
Today the enemy shall know fear.
So this is the part of Sir Leo's
my aim is lost in damnation. A sacred machine cult has misfired and landed somewhere within the city. We must recover the structure and any survivors united in his service.
So,
my aim
we're almost at the end of our presentation. So just to recap on the 4 questions on our self-help, self-check questions. If you answered no to any of the 4 questions,
shall not falter.
The next step, please immediately contact DTIF, Business Licensing and Accreditation Division. That is the team here of Miss Lucy Sarini. I think you have to send a letter so that you could get your, you can be provided with your username password.
Yes, Lord.
To access the other government agency portal of the Bureau of Customs. Okay, I think that's like
from idleness.
On alert, brothers. The enemy must be nearby.
Okay, so
the Emperor protects.
At this point, so we hope that we make it very as clear as possible and as simple, as straightforward as possible on how to go through your CPRS. Okay, where you start, what information you need to encode. Okay. So let me end this presentation by some important announcements.
Is the first step on the
so starting today, March 17, the
open mind
the Bureau of Customs system will resume strict implementation of the mandatory matching of forwarder CPRS status during the transit permit lodgement by off.cfs.
This day shall be a glorious one for the Imperium.
Because in my latest coordination with the Office of the Deputy Commissioner, MICT, the initial reaction I got was they've already given us 2 grace periods. So we'll still do our best if there will be a very major problem. So we will appeal again. If there are problems.
Emperor protects.
And finally,
for terror,
we would like to announce our
for the honor of
participants and our stakeholders.
While the enemies here, of the Emperor still
because most of you actually use Cargo Data Exchange Center, our VASP service for your electronic manifest submission.
Space Marines, advance!
The Bureau of Customs system.
Faith and duty shall be a glorious one for the Imperium.
The inclusion of the forwarder tax identification number
must be nearby.
as mandatory data in shipping line electronic manifest submission.
Praise the
Wherein
Emperor.
the forwarder, the NVOCC, the consolidator is the consignee in the shipping line, Master BL.
Yes,
So
Lord.
it's preliminary technical testing. What happens is when the shipping line submits electronically submits their Master BL, there will be an additional data field for them to put in the TIN number of the forwarder if the consignee of the Master BL is a forwarder. It's preliminary testing, but we have to, share this information with you. It doesn't mean that tomorrow, next month, it will be implemented. But knowing very well that the CPRS,
yes, my lord,
registration status of freight forwarders are already being checked.
The Emperor protects.
Customs
yes,
system.
sir, at your command.
This is another urgency for us, for our forwarders to please, ensure your full compliance with BOC CPRS.
Cleanse, purge, kill.
I think that's our last slide. So it took us 1 hour, and I hope it was. It's very clear, very useful for everyone.
Yes, most beneficent one.
This
Routines
presentation actually serves
initiated.
as a quick user guide. And in behalf of Cargo Data Exchange Center, we are very pleased to join everyone in this webinar. We thank PMT Live for the very proactive support for this, and the Association of CFS Operators of the Philippines for their patience in working with us to help resolve problems. So we hope, we have achieved our objective here of
the machine cult is still intact.
Now
we must get a servitor to finish its construction immediately.
Registration. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mr. Morada, and thank you too. Thank you to you and Ms. Angel. We have time actually to entertain some questions, sir. Should I proceed?
Yes.
There are, yes. So I will be reading first the questions in the Q&A button. I am sure that some of the questions have been discussed also, but if you may want to validate or reiterate or stress more, then you can perhaps remind them.
My aim shall not.
Should a company register first with a BOC accredited service provider prior to securing BOC's E2M CPRS registration?
The Emperor protects.
Okay. The CPRS registration procedure for freight forwarders involves two parties. One is FTEB, which will give you the username password, and the Bureau of Customs OGA portal. There is no requirement for you to get to register with a VASP like CDEC in order for you to proceed with CPRS compliance. This is insofar as forwarder is concerned.
All right, thank you. Next, can CDEC monitor the companies that are using them in BOC's CPRS as VASP, but in reality they are using other VASP? Is this okay?
Okay. We all know very well that CDEC is the preferred service provider of our freight forwarders insofar as submission of electronic manifest to the Bureau of Customs system and to the World Customs Organization cargo targeting system. As much as we want these forwarders to also use to instruct their contracted customs brokers to use CTEC for our other services like the customs broker import entry declaration. We do not make a strict 1:1 requirement for that. So, should the freight forwarder or the designated customs broker or contracted customs broker use CDEC for customs broker import entry declaration as well, or export declaration, we provide a that's an added value enhancement for that. It's not added value, it's a value enhancement service of ours. So in doing so, we'll be able to support problems relating to electronic manifest submission, import entry declaration, and export declaration. We call that an end-to-end seamless support by only one service provider. Thank you.
All right, sige. Let's go see that. Where can they request update of CPRS copy? Where can they request for username and password?
Reporting, sir.
Okay. The username and password is issued by the DTI FTEB team.
Most beneficent one.
So if the forwarder is already accredited with FTEB, then we recommend that you communicate with FTEB team on informing them that you want to proceed with your CPRS registration.
All right, see. Since tomorrow na po ang start ng strict implementation and we don't have yet a CPRS or we haven't registered yet, how will it affect our E2M manifest submission?
Okay, let me clarify that. The problem that we have starting March 1 is the rejection of the by the customs system of a document called transit permit,
okay,
which involves customs approval of transfer of LCL containers to the OCTAC CFS. This is a problem at hand. So if you are a freight forwarder and you do not have LCL containers to be transferred to the OCTAC CFS, you will not be impacted in any manner. As of today, the customs system does not check CPRS status of the freight forwarder insofar as your electronic manifest submission is concerned. For today, the situation might change
and carry a big gun.
Maybe a few months from now.
Even in death, I still serve.
But please make sure, regardless of what will be impacted now or later, your CPRS registration is a part of stakeholder compliance with the Bureau of Customs system.
So
he
it's best
who
they don't
stands
wait
with me
until
shall
they're
be
impacted.
my brother.
Yes.
It's better to be prepared.
Here to serve.
Yes. All right, thank you. I would like to ask, if our company has a branch company in Davao and Cebu, should we also apply it to have a separate CPRS?
Okay. That would depend, I believe, on how you are accredited with FTEB. Our understanding is it's a freight forwarder, one company registration, one SEC
Scouts in position.
registration,
Beware
regardless of the branch.
In position.
So, based on that
Scouts
understanding,
ready. On alert, brothers.
my answer will
The
be
enemy must be nearby.
there's only
At your
one
command.
CPRS registration. Because
Yes, Lord.
you can, when you are registered with Bureau of Customs CPRS, you can actually transact with any port. Puerto Manila, South Harbour, Davao, and very recently, Cagayan de Oro. We found out that in Cagayan de Oro, there is the shipping lines have started to call to have vessels there. So we were surprised that, you know, some of our clients were expecting their shipments to be at the Mindanao Container Terminal in Tagaloan, Phoebe. Suddenly the vessel is now Cagayan de Oro. So if you have a valid CPRS, you can submit, as a freight forwarder, you can submit your electronic manifest
infiltrating enemy territory
in whatever customs post.
No need to create a separate CPRS.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, since starting March 17, they will start the strict implementation and we don't have yet a CPRS or we haven't registered, how will it affect our E2M manifest submission starting today?
None can stand before
I think that's the
us.
same question as the previous one. There is no negative adverse impact on your electronic manifest.
I shall never
As of yet,
tire.
yes. Okay. If the importer has no E2M CPRS account or expired, can we process their shipment as their forwarder?
With courage and honor.
Okay. Insofar as LCL container transfers to OFTAC CFS,
My knowledge is at
it
your
is actually the OFTAC CFS operator that undertakes the processing.
Secured. Scouts in position.
I think the role of the freight forwarder for now is submit manifest. If you're referring to your shipments of, for instance, in your house BL, you have your importers or signees. It is actually the customs broker who does the processing for release in customs, not the freight forwarder. Let me clarify everything that is lodged with the Bureau of Customs system, insofar as release of the containers involves import entry declarations, assessment, I think even with your GPS seal with e-track, if it's for CBW or TESA, it is the customs broker's name that appears on the transaction, not the freight forwarder.
All right, that's clear. Are the importers and exporters also given with username and password to access BOC CPRS registration?
Okay. Bureau importers and importers, you have to register with your service provider, like CDEC.
Reporting, sir.
Or the other service providers. If your role as a stakeholder is exporter, okay, first of all, you need to identify who is your exporter accrediting agency. Are you PESA?
Among any enemy
Are you
positions.
SBMA? Are you Field Export? So, because these agencies, these accrediting agencies, will be the one to give you your unique reference number.
At your
letter N. That's very important. Now, exporter registration with CPRS system goes through the other government agency portal, OGA.
Initiating attack protocol 23.
My question is related to CPRS, yes. Can a customs broker with CPRS registration as customs broker allowed to apply CPRS as importer and exporter?
Yes, my lord.
Okay. So, part of that I will answer, part of that I will need the help of Angel.
An open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unguarded.
The customs broker, insofar as CPRS is concerned, is an individual person.
Build routine 721 initiated.
The importer, insofar as the customs system is concerned, may either be a corporation, a single proprietorship, an individual person. Because an individual person actually be in shipment under a different category for customs, which is either below 50,000 pesos, below 10,000 pesos. Okay. So you have such a thing as once a year importer. Okay. So if the customs broker who is named, example, Leo Mariel, something like that. You're a customs broker, but this time you want to import something. The rule that will apply for you is if this is a one-time importation, Leo Mariel can actually process importation, process import.
As an importer, not as a customs broker.
Yes. Okay. So there's such a thing as a once a year registration as a importer.
Importer. Okay.
Angel, would you like to add?
So
I stand ready. Do I detect uncertainty in your
as
purpose?
mentioned with Sir Leo, it's
The Emperor
different kind of accreditation or CPRS registration. So one of the questions of our members here is, can a broker create CPRS for their importers or exporters? So with brokers account with they have the access to create CPRS for their importers and exporters. But if a broker wants also to be an importer or exporter, he or she needs to have a different accreditation also as an importer or exporter. So your brokers can assess you, even the forwarders can assess the importers and exporters or their clients for the CPRS renewal or CPRS creation, as long as they have the access or VASP account to create the CPRS.
Shall be my brother.
With creation of CPRS is
Venerate the
there's no really rule that only the importer can create the CPRS for them.
Scouts here.
So even the broker can help them with the creation. But the T number for the CPRS or the profile is, of course, the profile of their client or their importer.
I sense danger.
It's never the customs brokers, but their clients.
Yes. If the importers, if they want the importers to have that CPRS.
Yes. All right, thank you. That's clear. How can we check our updated CORS status?
On patrol, getting into position. Yes, my lord. Commencing
so how can they check the updated CPRS?
Yeah, right now you could go to cprs.customs.gov.ph.
Awaiting orders.
You just select, if you're a forwarder, then you click on the client type forwarder, then input your tax identification number.
Following orders.
Thank you. And the link has been shared in the chat box for those of you who would like to check your CPRS status. And then it's here to follow up. If we want to update the CPRS profile, where can we do it? Which site? Is it the same site?
India?
For the updating of your CPRS profile as a forwarder, same thing, you need to log in with your OGA system and then log in using your username and password. So if you do not have now the previous CPRS profile, so you can create a new one, but the status should be under renewal. If this is for renewal. So same access. The OGA system access.
All right. How about if we want to be registered as consolidator, deconsolidator, where do we need to apply?
Okay. I believe this is for
the Emperor protects gates unbarred and unguarded. There is no such thing as innocence.
My understanding is the FDEB is responsible for implementation of international freight forwarders, domestic freight forwarders, NVOCCs, and consolidators.
Faith is eternal.
Thank you. There's another one saying, Sherry, we just renewed our CPRS last February. Does this mean we'll have to process our renewal in the website you provided by next year?
Okay, the answer is this. Please check the expiry date.
Okay.
When you say you process it last January, then you must have, received notifications on the status, whether it's scored, evaluated, accredited. So the CPRS.customs.gov.ph portal will show you if your expiry date is beyond today. That means to say you're okay.
While the enemies of the Emperor still draw breath, there can be no peace.
Still, before March 17, then that means to say you have not yet, you're not yet updated with your CPRS.
Yes, my lord. Onward to glory.
Okay, what if they need to amend? What do they do? Where do they go?
Okay, you have to access again the OGA portal using your username access provided by
Die. Even in death.
And what if the owner cannot remember?
While the enemies of the
if
Emperor
the company has a
still draw
CPRS?
breath, there can be
Can this be checked also through the CPRS.customs.gov.ph?
Yes. All freight forwarders who were accredited by DTI based on Bureau of Customs CPRS records, had their CPRS expired 2017, 2018. If you are a new freight forwarding company that was incorporated or started commercial operations after 2018, 2019, then you have the first step you have to do is to apply for accreditation with the TTIF.
For this day. He who stands with
is the BOC OGA system the new platform for the registration and renewal of CPRS?
Yes, my lord.
Okay. The OGA system is there since the start.
The enemy is attacking.
It is only used for the CPRS of freight forwarder.
He who stands with me shall be my brother.
Shipping lines. They use that.
Identifying targets.
All the other stakeholders, importer, broker,
the Emperor
operator, cargo warehouse.
Beware the alien.
They go to the services of the VASP like CDEC.
All right. Now, there's another one. Ask ko lang po kasi lagi may lumalabas na mandatory signature kaya hindi po kami makapag-renew. Oh, there's a problem renewing because this always comes out, mandatory signature. What do they do?
Scouts advance.
It means that you have not put in something in the data field called signature. I believe it's a scanned copy of the signature.
The Emperor protects. Walk softly.
FTEB registers to CPRS only those accredited SFFs with categories NVOCC and or IFF.
Yes, most beneficent one. With all due haste.
Could you say that again, Mariam?
FTEB registers to CPRS only those accredited SFFs with categories NVOCC and or IFF.
Okay,
I think we have to address the clarification
He's moving out. He's not going to stay and fight.
Okay, then another one with a problem with CNN. I'd like to ask, why is our CCN number starts with EX, considering that our nature of business is freight forwarding services?
We've been waiting and
why is that?
waiting to fight these Marine boys, and we're gonna stop them bad.
Okay, if you're a forwarder, your
we need the strength of all the boys, not a small, weak mob of rats like you boys.
Have different prefix when it comes to CCN numbers. VR for broker, IN for importer, SW for exporter. If your COR right now is as an start with EX, then you are not
You're the boss. Who's gonna go
or
that big
you
boss
do not
off among us?
have
He got something
as a
special
forwarder.
planned
That
for
is
these humans.
so you might recheck it.
Okay.
Somebody wants to share. All CPRS registration facilitated by FTEB are given CCN that starts with FW.
The defense of the city of Magnabonum was a success.
Provides the URL that starts with PSP.
But not unprepared.
The CCN
I will not
is a
underestimate
custom
these aliens
CPRS.
again. It is clear now that their primary push was
numbering
towards the
of
capital
designation
city.
system. So your
They
CCN
have
comes
moved in to
from
attack with a speed
Bureau
I've
of
rarely
Customs
seen a
CPRS.
military force capable of achieving.
May I add to the
I've read
previous
reports of all clans who
question?
focus on
but yeah,
fast strikes,
you cannot interchange
but I did not
your
realize they
exporter
could
CCN,
be so
which
coordinated.
starts with
It
EX,
is as if something is driving the orcs here. Some
and use that
unknown
for
desire or instinct. The
CPRS
Imperial Guard
as
regiments watching
freight
over the
forwarder.
city are decimated.
It's a
They
different
will
role.
not be
We know
resupplied for
very
at
well we
least
have many freight
24 hours.
forwarders
The orcs
who
will renew
are
their
all who
attacks
are
far
accredited
sooner.
as exporters
Our
because
scouts
they
are
have
reporting a
export
force
shipments.
massing 50 kilometers from the
So,
city
but you
that
cannot
dwarfs the group that
interchange your
attacked Magnabonum.
your
And reports from civilians
exporter
speak of a mighty
CCN
orc who leads them,
EX111
bigger and more
and
cunning
use
than
that
the rest.
whenever
If the capital
you
city
have
falls, this
LCL
planet
shipments for
will not be far
transfer
behind.
of
I
that CFS.
cannot allow this to
Because
occur.
the custom system will check your T number and check your CPRS as a freight forwarder, not as a exporter. So in so far as export, you have no problem. That's okay. You use your EX CCN.
All right. This other one has the same problem as last, but let me share it with you. Meron po kaming error encounter every time when send renewal. Parang yung kanina, the error is mandatory signature. Like you were saying, Mr. Morada, baka scan signature yon, no? So they will have to supply the signature. But here's the thing. We have sent an email with DTI, but they tell us to check with BOC. But BOC is pointing to DTI. So I guess they just have to provide that.
Okay. We're not sure what exactly is the email, is the error. Okay. If you are a CDEC client and you're using CDEC for your electronic manifest and all other E2M services, let us know. We'll be happy to help you out.
Everything is ready, boss.
Can forwarders be exporters?
Damn Humies is in for a good stomping. This is going
you have to go
to
a separate CPRS registration as
just make sure it's the last fight.
Yes, as far as your question is concerned, yes.
I don't take orders from you.
For new CPRS registration, SFFs are only required to store their profile, but advised to have a safe copy of the XML file. For first renewal, they are required to submit requests for the renewal, inform FTEB if there are no changes. They have to submit copy of XML file. It is FTEB that renews the registration. If there are changes, they have to submit notarized CPRS from the form and updated XML
that you keep the Imperials distracted from our operations.
I think that is a
kept your word, but that still don't mean you can order the orcs around.
Yes, because DTI FTEB is the accredited
they're in the hands of
agency for freight forwarders, so we have to comply with them. Customs will not accept a CPRS registration of a freight forwarder coming from CDEC.
For as long
it will only process CPRS registration when the new renewal for freight forwarder if that is officially originated from DTI FTEB.
Kowtowing to these creatures.
Thank you. I just want to do a time check. To our dear participants, we have 5 minutes to go, and I believe there are about 3 more questions, so we can answer them. If ever we didn't receive our COR, can we get our COR to CDEC, just like when we didn't receive our stored notification?
Lord Bill.
Due to data privacy rules and confidentiality, we are not allowed to do that. We can help you point to the correct office in Bureau.
If we intimidated them into doing our bidding, show them our strength.
Any amendments except SEC, BIR, or URN request must be submitted to FTEB. Second BIR number and URN cannot be amended. A new registration has to be made. Thank you for that, Chair.
What we came for before they finish with the Imperials.
If we are to renew by next year, do we need to process it to FTEB, or will renew directly to OGA website?
Them smelly chaos boys is weak. Not nearly enough of a
Where will we follow up for the new CCN as forwarder? BOC Ammo?
They wouldn't need us to fight for
BOC Ammo, which is the account management office, has no role in so far as processing the CPRS registration of freight forwarder. Its role is limited to customs brokers and importers. So you follow up with the help desk of BOC.
Orbital imagery shows a heavy concentration of orcs in the area. We must secure
there are 2
a
questions
location
left,
and
so we will be
establish a
answering
base
these 2
before
questions.
destroying the war boss and
Just
his
want
clan.
to ask lang po,
Combine
when is the
holy fire
CPRS
of the
started?
wilderness
When
with
did
the
it
jump
start?
packs of
Para
our
sa mga
assault
forwarders.
marines.
Our company
Cleanse
started
this
year
area.
2007, but we haven't heard about CPRS for forwarders po.
Okay. So there must be something wrong with the information dissemination part of either the service providers like us or the Bureau of Customs. The client profile registration system requirement for all stakeholders is part of a customs memorandum order way back 2008 when the Bureau of Customs E2M system was implemented.
Is there a cost for the new and renewal lodgement?
Well, CDEC is not involved in the process, so there's no charge. Even for importers, exporters, customs brokers, arrastre operators, and our off-tax CFS, many of whom are also here in this webinar, CDEC does not charge for CPRS registration. I cannot say so for the other service providers.
Thank you. The updated email address and contact numbers and details of CDEC has just been shared in the chat box. For those of you who are asking, you may take a screenshot. Now it's there. And then a very kind participant also would like to share. You may request a copy of your CPRS to MISTG, just like we did yesterday. You just need to provide your company name and PIN number. Thank you for that. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Morada and Miss Angel, and I sure look forward to meeting you very soon, face to face.
Squad broken! We are the Emperor's chosen. Orders received, brother. We are the Emperor's chosen.
Whirlwind here.
Direct us to the enemy. Squad morale restored. What is your order? Fall back! Yes, my lord. What is your order? Regrouping. We stand ready. Regroup. Orders received, brother. Weapons at ready. Awaiting orders. Strategic point identified. Featuring nice faith.
Our scouts report the war boss is in the vicinity of this location. It seems a second orc clan has gathered between us. They are heavily defended on this plateau. They must be eliminated to clear a path to the war boss.
Yes, Lord.
Fear not the Psyker. Do I detect uncertainty in your purpose? I stand ready.
This day shall be a glorious one for the Imperium.
Yes, most beneficent
Area
one.
secure. Heresy grows from idleness.
Today the enemy shall know fear.
Yes, Lord. With all due haste. Yes, Lord.
Assault Marines are now available to us. They can be built from the chapel barracks.
I await your instructions.
Naririto na naman po tayo sa
Yes, Lord.
free webinar na ipinakaloob sa atin ng Aerotech. Kamusta po tayo?
I await your instructions.
Marahil
I will
po,
do
iba,
as you ask.
ang mga gawain sa paaralan.
Marine squad deployed. Faith is our shield. Yes, my lord.
Tayo po ay
We stand ready.
Knowledge is power. Hide it well.
To me, brothers!
magandang umaga sa inyo.
Here to
Ayan, good
serve.
morning, Ma'am Rosaline, and good morning sa ating mga live viewers, no? So, naniniwala ko talagang sila ay busy, ma'am. No? Pero, yung iba, medyo may way pa rin para, to tune in to us. Na talaga namang nagpapasalamat tayo. Kasi hindi nila tayo kinakalimutan. And hindi rin natin sila kakalimutan, ma'am, kasi talaga namang magbibigay tayo ng pinaka-fruitful morning natin sa kanila. This today.
There is no such thing as innocence, only degrees of guilt.
Yes, ma'am.
Hindi man sila makasabay sa atin ngayon. Mamaya, pagka-free time na nila.
I await your instructions.
An open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unguarded.
Webinar ng Aerotech sa
Yes, Lord.
Hope
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
first step on
Actually,
the road to disappointment.
Totoo yang sinasabi mo, no? So, hindi na natin, kumbaga, patatagalin pa. Kumbaga, kasi yung iba talagang excited na, Ma'am Rosaline.
I will do as you ask.
Ayan po.
With all due haste.
Ayan, ma'am.
Yes, most beneficent one.
Ayun
Yes,
po.
most
Ngayong umaga,
beneficent
ang
one.
ating magiging paksa po ay an extensive guide to Google
Initializing
Forms.
build
At talagang ito
protocol.
pong ating
Here
paksa
to
ngayon
serve.
na tatalakayin ng ating subject matter.
Initializing
Expert
build
guide.
protocol.
Maaari
There is
talaga
no
natin
such thing as
magamit
innocence,
sa pagharap
only
natin sa
degrees of
tinatawag natin
guilt.
better normal.
Yes,
Diba, Sir
most
Ed?
beneficent one.
Heresy was your order, idleness. Fear our wrath. Onward to glory! Taking hits! We are the
Ayan,
Emperor's
so,
chosen.
sorry na wala yung audio ko, no? Ayan po. So, naniniwala ko, Ma'am Rosaline, na yung iba nating teachers dito ay may experience na in creating Google Forms. And yung mga ilan-ilan siguro na iba na talagang hindi pa gaano kabiyasa sa paggawa ng mga forms.
He who stands with me
Nandito
shall
kami,
be
don't
my
worry,
brother.
gagayad po namin kayo.
Duty calls
Actually,
me
magkakaroon tayo ng mga activities na wherein yung mga activities na yun, magiging nyo yung mga skills na kailangan matutunan para kung paano gumawa ng effective
An
Google
open
Forms.
mind is like a fortress
Ayan. So,
with
yung
its
mga
gates
pasikot-sikot
unbarred
about
and
Google
unguarded.
Forms, tatalakayin po natin this
Here to
morning.
serve.
Ayan.
Ayan. Sir Ed, doon sa may mga alam na,
Ever
ito ay
vigilant.
magsisilbing refresher na lang para sa kanila. Pero doon naman
What's your order? Direct us to
Today the enemy shall know fear.
bago pa
None shall stop us.
o makikita ang paraan ng paggawa natin, magkakaroon tayo, gagawa ng paraan niyan ni Sir Ed o ng ating subject matter expert
Ever
mamaya na
vigilant. Marine squad deployed. Direct us to the enemy.
Yes.
Moving
Opo,
out.
totoo yan, ma'am. Dadahan-dahanin natin yan, kumbaga, yung proseso na yan para mas matutunan pa. Opo.
Ayan. Kasi ang pinakalayunin talaga ay matutunan itong uniforms.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
Emperor
Correct po.
protects.
Ayan. Siguro hindi na natin patagalin, ma'am. Umpisa na natin yung ating webinar proper or program proper.
Marine squad deployed.
Ayan, sir. Sa ating mga live viewers,
Yes, my lord.
maaari po bang
We are the
mag-like
Emperor's
at
chosen.
makikisubscribe ang ating
Ever vigilant.
Hope is the first step on the road to disappointment.
Sa mga susunod pang mga free webinar, kayo po ay
Awaiting
ng
orders.
notification at ma-updated kayo sa susunod pa. Para yung mga kaibigan po natin na hindi pa nakakapag-subscribe ay
Heresy grows from idleness.
The Emperor protects.
Faith is our shield.
makikigamit lamang po ang ating hashtag na
An open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unguarded.
The Emperor
Party
protects.
din po tayo with hashtag Team Ariete.
Orders received.
My knowledge is at your disposal.
Heresy grows from idleness.
Yes, most beneficent one. Yes, Lord.
Walk softly and carry a big
Mga
gun.
hindi pa po nagla-like,
Here to serve.
subscribe at nagwa-watch party.
I will do as you
Like
ask.
na po, subscribe at mag-watch party na din tayo.
For the Emperor!
Team Ariotech. Hashtag Team Ariotech.
Never taking heavy fire. We will crush the enemies of the Imperium.
Advokasya
What is your will?
ang advokasya ng Ariotech ay
Here to
dadaanin
serve.
po natin sa
Yes,
isang
Lord.
maikling tula.
I will do
While the
as
enemies
you
of the
ask.
Emperor still draw breath, there can be
Knowledge
no
is
peace.
power. Hide it well.
Orders received. Maintain attack
Ariotech
formation.
na nagbibigay ng kaalaman kung mga teknolohiya ang pag-uusapan.
On alert, brothers.
Subalit
The
di
enemy
lamang
must be
ito
nearby.
ang ginagampanan
For the
ng
glory
ginagawa
of the
ng
Emperor.
pagtulong sa kalikasan.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, Lord.
Inang kalikasay, labis ang mga pagtangis
With
sa
all due
pagtatawi
haste.
sa
What's your order?
pangangalagay na
Maintain
liligid.
attack. Fear
Mga
denies
basurang
faith.
kung saan-saan
Maintain attack. We stand ready.
naninirahan sa
Cleanse,
karagatan,
purge,
tumatanas.
kill.
Pagong na nasa kaniyang tahanay nananahimik, sa kaniyang
I
ulo'y
await your
nakatusok ang
instructions.
strong plastic. Hindi siya gumagamit, kaya siya'y nahihindik. Subalit siya ang nakararanas
The
ng
Emperor
hindik.
protects.
Mumunting para ay magmumula sa
Walk softly and
pagpigil
carry
sa
a big
plastic na
gun.
straw, ipinain.
Yes, my lord.
Huwag nang gamitin
We are the
pagkat basura'y
Emperor's chosen
dumaragat
fire.
upang mabawasan ang dinabubulok na
We
dumi.
stand ready. Engaging the enemy.
Beware the
Halina't
alien, the
suportahan ang
mutant.
stereotype sa
We are
kampanya.
the
Ang
Emperor's
paggamit
chosen.
ng plastic straw ay
To the
titigan na.
skies.
May ibang paraan
My
upang
faith
ito'y
is my
mabawasan
shield.
na. Si Ginoong Eduardo
Awaiting orders.
ay magpapahayag.
Weapons at ready. It is time. Fear denies faith.
Wow,
Weapons at
ayun.
ready.
So sana
It is
nagustuhan
time.
niyo
Is
ito
our
ni
shield.
Mama no, Rosalie, no? Talaga
Faith
namang
is our
effort si
shield.
Ma'am to compose that tula para sa atin, no? About our campaign. Si Eriotech kasi, no, kung ikaw ay bago pa lang sa channel namin,
I
kung
await your
nawi-weirdohan ka,
instructions.
baka mamaya
Ever vigilant.
ano ba tong napasok kong
Orders
webinar na to? Parang ang
Here to serve.
halo-halo ang concept. No, kasi sa amin po is hindi lang kami ICT. So we would like also to contribute to protect our own, no, ating earth, or ating mundo. Ayan po. And then of course, sa amin po is we would like to ask everybody to join our campaign by using the hashtag Say
Yes,
No to
Lord.
Plastic Straw. Ano po? So, alam naman natin, napakita ni Ma'am Rosalie na gawa niya ng tula.
Heresy
Talaga
grows.
namang nakakalungkot na situation ng ating mga karagatan,
Venerate
yung
the
mga
immortal emperor
ilog
with me,
and
brothers.
steros.
My
Ano
faith
po?
is my shield.
Dahil doon,
For the
kami
emperor.
dito, may konting
Yes, my
kaming
lord.
effort. Yan, gusto namin mag-contribute. So, hindi
Yes,
lang tayo
Lord.
dito, puro
I
aral lang
shall
din ng mga
obey.
kung ano-anong ICT
Taking
tools,
down.
Beware
ICT
the
platforms,
alien,
and
the
technology.
mutant.
Gusto namin din to impart din yung ano natin, as an individual na naninirahan sa ating tahanan, yung home natin, yung mundo
My
natin,
aim shall not
is
falter.
gusto namin ma-encourage kayo. Yan.
Yes,
So,
Lord.
as much as possible to lessen. I believe hindi
Routine
naman siya
721
basta-basta o
initiated.
mabilisang approach na matatanggal yung
I await
usage
your
ng plastic straw.
instructions.
So, dito kami para, ayun, to contribute to lessen up yung paggamit.
Routine
Okay?
721
So, ayan nga po, sa
initiated.
makikita nyo sa screen ninyo,
Walk softly
we are all in
and
this
carry a big
together. So,
gun.
kung kami lang, yung Team Eriotech lang, hindi kaya, so please tulungan nyo po kami to spread the word hanggat maaari.
While the
Kung
enemies of the
maiiwasan,
emperor still draw
iwasan po
breath,
natin,
there can
lalo-lalo
be
na din yung
no
mga
peace.
single-use plastic natin. So, I believe lahat ng mga organization,
Yes,
company,
most
and
beneficent one.
even our government encouraging us to use our baonan or yung mga kutsara,
Initializing
tinidor
the
natin, magbaon
protocol.
tayo. Instead
Yes,
of using
Lord.
the disposable utensils, baonans, and mga kilo-kilo plastic, di ba? Ika nga yung term natin, no? Ayun po.
I
So,
will
ngayon
do
dito
as
kay
you
Eriotech,
ask.
meron po kaming
Here to
suggestions,
serve,
no?
as
Na
you
parang
wish.
ini-introduce
What would you
to
have me
everybody
do?
na particular sa straw. Ayan. So, ito, I believe hindi ito ordinaryo sa inyong mga pamingganan or mga utensils. So, ito po, isang tool
Today the
na
enemy
pwede
shall
natin
know
gamitin
fear.
alternative to straw
We
or
shall
plastic
know
straw.
no fear.
So, ito po ay metal straw made
My
in
aim shall
stainless
not
steel.
falter.
So, hindi ito
Today
basta-basta
the enemy shall know
kinakalawang.
fear.
So, ang the best example here is, yung inyo pong kutsara and tinidor.
What would
Okay,
you
di ba
have me
stainless
do?
po yun, hindi yung kinakalawang.
We
So, ganito
shall
rin po
know
yung
no fear.
itong metal straw na to, no? And at the same time, pwede po itong linisin. Okay, dishwasher safe po ito. So, pwede siyang
Yes,
linisin. May
most
mga brush
beneficent
dito to remove the residue inside your straw. So, pwedeng
await
malamig,
your
pwedeng mainit.
instructions.
Sa mga milk tea.
Scouts
Ayan, alam ko
reporting for
maraming
duty.
may gusto sa atin ng milk tea. Ayan, to chill our, di ba, sarili sa napaka-stressful day every day.
With all due
Kumbaga,
haste.
or parang nakakapagod na day every day. Ayan po. So, environment friendly siya, eco-friendly siya. Ito yung talagang sinasuggest namin. Again, this is a suggestion from us. So, hindi natin mapiplease ang lahat. Sa amin po, in-encourage namin to use the alternative. So, marami na to anywhere pwede kayo mag-avail nito. So, ang importante is to use alternative instead of using the traditional straw. And by the way, I would like to take advantage yung opportunity na to thank you yung ating mga partners. Ang tawag po namin sa kanila is Partners in Say No to Plastic Straw Campaign. Ayan. So maraming salamat. Ayan, kala Sir John Lilo. Ayan, sila Ma'am Victoria. Ayan, lalo-lalo na si Ma'am yung nasa corner na talagang nakademo pa yung milk tea niya, no? Ginamit niya yung kanyang straw. So these teachers and individuals is na nag-avail sa amin yung product na to, no? Again, no, so hindi optional po itong product, hindi po supplementan, hindi po namimilit, hindi mandatory. So actually, ni-introduce lang namin to as a suggestion or alternative instead of using the traditional straw. Ano po? Ngayon po, ayan, nagpapasalamat kami kasi sa amin sila nag-avail, kay Area Team nag-avail. Ayan po, kung mapapansin nyo, ang daming variation of colors na hawak nila, no? So, kay Aerotech po kasi maraming colors. Itong pinapakita ni Ma'am Roslyn na to is yung metallic straw collection na tinatawag. So, mga elegant metallic straw to, yung may gold, metallic red, metallic blue. And of course, yung elegant silver natin. And multicolor. Ako may personal preferences dyan yung multicolor. Ayan, maganda siya talaga. Parang rainbow. Ayan, nagbabago-bago yung kulay. And another collection namin dito is ceramic collection. Ayan, medyo mapapla siya, pero ang ganda, medyo cute yung mga colors ko, lalo-lalo na yung ceramic violet, ceramic green. Meron din tayo ceramic rose gold, parang color pink to, na maputlang pink. Okay, and ceramic blue. Ayan, and then meron din po kami ditong mga new arrivals na color. Yung mga white combi, kung tawagin namin, white combination na color. And of course, yung new arrival natin, purple, metallic purple. Ayan po. So, ang daming variation. Ito ang bestseller namin dito is yung white violet. Ayan po. Saka yung white green. So, don't forget din yung white rose gold. Ang gaganda ng mga colors na to. So, kung ayaw mo yung pinakita ko nung una na parang plain and simple, elegant silver, eh marami tayong variation of color. So marami. So again, nasa Shopee din po kami. Just visit our shop, www.shopee.ph/Aerotech. Okay? Sa Shopee po kasi available yung option na cash on delivery. Ibig sabihin, kung hindi ka masyadong tiwala kay Aerotech, gusto mo kaliwaan, walang problema, kay Shopee po kayo pumunta. Pero kung gusto mo ng more faster and safest way, you can message us sa aming Facebook page. Opo. So, pwede po kayo makipag-transact doon sa legit po sa legit na Facebook page ni Aerotech. www.facebook.com/Aerotech. Ayun po. So, I hope makapag-avail kayo nito. Again, unang-una, number one benefit is to, to contribute to lessen the plastic waste and, pangalawa, syempre, napakalaking impact ito sa ating environment. And pangatlo, matutulungan nyo si Aerotech to pursue or parang to continue pa yung mga free ICT webinars niya. So, malaking tulong din sa amin to. Ayan po, kung sa amin kayo mag-a-avail. So, murang-mura lang yan. So, sa silver, 100 pesos. May mga colors, 120 pesos. So actually, sa market, mas mahal pa. So dito, cheapest way as possible lang namin siya ibinibigay. Okay? So yun po. So I hope makapag-avail po kayo. And again, maraming salamat sa mga nag-avail sa amin and sa mga mag-a-avail pa po. Ayan. Sige ma'am, Rosalyn.
My faith is an open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unguarded.
Avail po tayo ng ating mga iba't ibang variant ng metal straw. Ngayon naman po
There is no such thing as innocence, only degrees of guilt.
Sapagkat ang ating subject matter ay kilalang kilala at lagi nating kasama
Build routine 721 initiated.
Siya po ay kasalukuyan.
An open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred.
The machine cult is ready to be requisitioned. And build it to gain access to vehicles.
Google Certified Educator Level 1. Civil Service Eligibility. Eligible siya.
What would you have me do?
Specialist in Programming. DICT Certified. Walang iba, ang ating subject matter expert para sa araw na ito, Ginoong Eduardo U. II.
My aim shall not falter.
My knowledge is at your disposal. I can sense the enemy. They are close. Fear not the psycho.
Ayan, ako po ulit. Sorry, surprise. So, nabigla ba kayo ako ulit? Actually, so, ako yung magiging ano nyo, no? Magiging parang resource person ninyo, subject matter expert, lecturer, kung ano man tawag ninyo. So, ako lang naman dito ay mag-share ng aking konting kaalaman about si Google Forms. Ano po. And as you can see, I believe yung mga nagamit nating mga forms kay Aerotech, no? Nagsasagot kayo ng output, nag-click kayo ng exam, kaya nagsasagot kayo ng survey. So, paano ba ginagawa yun, no? So, we will try to tackle it as easy guide as possible. Ano po? So, i-guide ko po kayo. So, huwag po matakot. Ano po? Ayan. So, ready na po ba ang lahat? So, sino na ba ang ready and excited? I would like to see it sa ating live chat. Ayan. Medyo nagdi-delay yung ating live stream. Ayan po. Ayan. Sino na ang ready? Ayan. So, kung po makita mga ready, opo.
Ayan. Pag ready nila, Sir Ed, yung kanilang pagpalakpak, binibigyan ka na nila ng virtual clap.
Wow. So, thank you for that, no? So, sana po ma-meet ko yung mga expectations ninyo this morning. So, gagawin ko ang lahat para, may mapulot kayo sa akin na kaalaman.
Orders received.
Sige po. So, I guess, kailangan ko po magsimula.
We will establish a forward base at this location to facilitate ready access to space. He who stands will need many
so, I will
to
now
ensure
share
the
my
wall
screen.
is dead and buried. By my command. Attack!
Siguro, minimize ko lang po ulit ito.
Space thermoplasma generators are available.
So, ano bang itatakal natin by this morning? Siguro, lakihan ko lang to. O kung may maliit man,
he who stands with me shall be my
sinimplihan ko lang, hindi ko na pinagarbo yung aking slide
while the enemies of the Emperor still draw
so marami tayong itatakal, to be honest. Ayan po.
Do I detect uncertainty in your
So, unang-una dyan yung mga form settings natin, visual styles, share button, yung insert options, yung questions, under that, yung mga types of questions, copy question, delete question, required response toggle, and yung validation ng mga answers. Ano po? And then, add-ons. And by exploring this mga functionality, mga settings in Google Forms, we will create this morning a periodic exam or a periodic test. A simple periodic test lang po Hindi ganun kadami yung mga question. Mag-example lang tayo. And a random quiz, evaluation form, and of course, yung automated certificate issuance natin. So lahat ng yan, yung mga tips and tricks, and yung mga experience namin by using this is talaga namang i-share ko sa inyo. So, and then, next slide ko po. Ayan.
Commencing infiltration.
Ayan, so ang dami kasing mga pasikot-sikot kay Google Forms, no? Pero although straightforward ang paggawa ng forms natin kay Google Forms, no? So, wag muna matakot. Sir, ang dami pala yan. Ang dami pala natin gagawin morning. Sana, nagsimula tayo ng maaga, no? Ayan, so okay lang naman po. Kahit, gagawa natin yan ng paraan. Huwag kayo pong matakot. Kasama nyo ako, sama-sama tayo, gagawa tayo ng mga output na yon. Ano po. And ang assurance ko dito is kung sasabayan nyo ako, syempre I will give allotted time to you for you to follow. Talaga namang magigain mo yung mga skills na dapat mong mag-gain.
Here to serve.
So yun po yung ating target. Ayan. So wag po matakot dyan na, sir, malabo yung slides. Okay lang. Pinakita ko lang dito, talagang pinalabo ko. Okay? Kasi ayoko ma-intimidate kayo. Ano po? So gusto ko po step by step, lahat ng mga boxes na yan is hindi nyo namamalayan, natatakel na pala natin. Ano po? Gusto nyo po ba yun? Sige. Sino ba ang gusto? So agree. Gusto ko makita yung mga chat na yun na agree, no? So don't worry kahit hindi makita tong slides na to, unti-unti matatakel natin to. Ano po? Malabo, okay lang. Sinadya ko talagang malabo. Para hindi kayo masyado ma-intimidate, intindihin to isa-isa. Okay? So ganun po. Ayan. So mahina po bang aking audio? Ayan. So minimize ko lang. So I believe, malakas ang aking audio. Medyo malakas kasi ako magsalita. So please bear with me. Ayan. So again, pupunta po ako sa aking Google Chrome. Ayan. So it requires us to have a Google Chrome. Ano po? Ayan. So paano po ba tayo gagawa ng ating first Google form? Ayan po, i-guide ko po kayo. So buksan nyo na po yung mga Google browser ninyo. Ano po? Hintayin po kayo Mabilis lang po ito siguro. Ayan po. Ayan. So kapag nasa Google Forms na kayo, buksan ko lang yung aking magic dito. Ayan. Para medyo hindi ako nahihirapan kapag magtuturo na tayo. So marami po tayong ways kung paano ma-access ang ating o paano makapag-create ng ating Google Forms. Ano po? Isa na po dito yung tinatawag nating navigation. Ayan. Yung navigation natin dito. Okay? So magta-type po tayo dito ng drive.google.com. Ano po? So gawin natin. Ano po? Sige po. Venerate the immortal embers. Ayan po So drive. Ulitin po natin. Drive.google. Sorry po. Pwede po, tama po. Sorry. Drive.google.com.
Beware the alien.
So by this, sir, forms yung gagawin natin. Pero bakit pumupunta ka sa drive? Okay po, okay lang po yun. Relax lang po muna tayo, no? Kasi ipapakita ko po yung lahat ng way kung saan siya possible gawin.
Knowledge is power.
Ayan, siguro switch lang ako sa aking other account.
The Emperor protects. I shall not fail.
Sorry.
At your command. Moving out.
Ayan. So relax lang tayo, no? Ayan. So medyo hindi. Ayan, switch tayo. So again, no, punta lang tayo doon kay drive.google.com. Oops. Sorry. Ayan po. Ayan. So syempre, technically, pupunta tayo sa ating drive. Sir, ito na ba yung Google Drive natin? Ay, ito na ba yung forms natin? Hindi pa po. Ano po? Hindi pa. Kasi po, dito yung storage natin o yung tinatawag natin cloud storage. Ano po? Dito na pupunta lahat ng files. So, kapag gagawa ka ng forms, dito rin mapupunta. Kaya, inuna ko to kasi ito yung pinakamahalaga. Hindi mo alam kung saan nababalikan yung forms, yung ginawa mong forms. Ano po? Ngayon, dinidiscuss ko in such a way na, sir, saan ba napupunta lahat ng forms? Dito po yon. Ano po? So, marami po kasing ways kung paano gumawa ng forms. Isa na po dito yung tinatawag natin ditong storage directory natin. Pwede tayo dyan mag-right-click. Ayan po. Right-click lang po ako sa blank. And then, go to more and go to your Google Forms. And then may another dyan, meron din pong blank forms and from template. Ano po? So, ganun lang. Right-click. Ulitin po natin. Right-click. More. Google Forms. And then, mamimili ka kung anong klaseng Google Forms. Blank po ba? Or yung from a template? Or yung gawa na. Ano po? So, kung ayaw mo na nagra-right-click, pupunta naman tayo dito kay New button. Ano po? Pag-click nyo po dyan, parang familiar yung mga options, more, and then Google Forms. So, ganun na ganun po, no? So, I hope maraming way kung paano siya mag-create ng forms. Ano po? So, ito yung dalawang klase from your Google Drive. Ano po? So, sana po klaro yun, no? Ayan. So, ako hindi muna ako gagawa kasi meron pa akong ipapakita sa inyo. Ayan. So, isa po itong way, no, kung paano i-access or how to create a Google Forms from the scratch. Ngayon, may another way pa tayo. Punta ulit tayo sa ating Omnibus bar. Add tab lang ako. Tatype ulit tayo ng URL sa ating Omnibus bar, no? Ang tawag kasi natin dito, Omnibus bar. We can search, we can type URLs. Okay? Sa ating Omnibus bar, pwede po natin din i-type yung forms. forms.google.com. Pag in-enter po natin, mapupunta naman po tayo sa ating form directory. Ibig sabihin, lahat po ng to ay puro forms. Okay? Okay po? Ayan. So, switch lang ako kasi masyado nang madami to. Naka-dual account kasi ako eh. Ayan po. So, para di tayo malito. So, ito yung mga forms. Kung mapapansin nyo, kung familiar kayo sa mga forms na to, no? Mga pinag-fill upan nyo. So, itong account na to yung ginamit to fill up on, you know, to distribute yung mga forms na ginawa natin sa Elitech, no? Ayan po. So, dito pwede rin po kayo mag-create ng forms from a blank form and from a template. So, sa akin, ang goal ko dito is for you to be able to create a form from the scratch. Ayan. Ano po? For those na malalabo ang screen, no, palitan nyo lang yung inyong YouTube settings. Make sure naka 72 720 pixel yung ano mo, streaming mo para medyo malinaw. So, yun yung common. Ayan po. Ayan ha, so may, again, ilan po yung ways kung paano makapag-create ng Google Form na pinakita ni Sir Ed. Ilan pong ways. So, I believe, ang na-discuss ko is tatlo. From the Google Drive, ira-right-click daw. Pwede rito, may option dito. And another one is yung new button dito sa Google Drive. Ayan, so pwede ka dyan mag-new and then more Google Forms. So, by default, nakatago kasi si Google Forms dito sa Google Drive. Ano po? Pero i-click nyo lang yung more. Lalabas siya doon, unang-una. Ayan. And another way is to drive dito sa forms.google.com and then bubukas to, yung pinaka-forms dashboard natin. Lahat ng forms related sa forms na ginawa mo, ay makikita mo rito parang naka-shortcut. Unlike dito kay Drive, halo-halo po kasi. Ano po? Halo-halo kay Drive. May docs, may sheets, may slides. Compared to Google Forms, sa forms.google.com, lahat lang ng forms makikita mo. So, I believe yung ibang teacher, ayaw nang magulo, gusto organize. Diba? And structured. Diba? Yung kanilang paggawa. Ano po? Ayan. So, maraming way, no? Etong tatlong way na to ang ating talaga namang i-introduce sa inyo. Ano po? Ayan. So again, ang unang requirement, syempre kailangan meron kang Google account. And then at the same time, meron kang, ayun, Google account lang. And browser. Ayan, you need a browser kapag PC yung gamit mo, no? Para sa mga cellphones naman, meron tayong native app na tinatawag ko, yung parang ini-install. Ayan, kapag may ini-install ka na application, ang tawag ko yung native app. New learning sa inyo. Kapag ang application is nababrowse sa web, possible na ang tawag doon is web application. Opo. So, sana alam natin yung difference from that, no? Kasi pag sinabi mong app? Anong klaseng app? Is it a web app or a native app? Yan. So, later, mas ma-elaborate natin yan. Kasi itong mga forms, itong mga docs, itong mga slides, itong drive, is a web application. Okay? Kasi nababrowse natin siya sa browser. Ano po? Ayan. So, sa akin siguro para familiar ang lahat. Ako gusto ko, organize kasi ako eh. Kunyari, dito ako kay Drive, gagawa muna ako ng folder. Ayan po, right-click, create new folder. Ano po? Or kaya dito, click ka dito, folder. Gusto ko kasi naka-folder lahat ng gagawin ko for this morning. Unlike kapag dito ka gumawa, automatic po kasi pupunta yan dito lang, basta-basta sa labas. Ano po? So ako gagawa muna ako ng folder, create new folder ako. Kunyari, EGF101 output. Parang ganyan yung gagawin ng folder ko. No? Ito, discretion nyo na to kung maging organized ka o hindi ka organized. Ako, gusto ko lang maging organized ako. Ayan. So, create ako. And then, syempre, magkakaroon tayo ng folder dito. Ito na yon. Papasukin ko na to by double-clicking. Ayan po.
With all due haste.
Ayan. So, I believe, no, medyo okay ang pacing natin. Sir, nawala yung mga folder. Okay lang, sir. Kasi nasa loob na tayo ng newly created folder natin. Ibig sabihin, gusto kong organize, dito ako gagawa. Para hindi nakakalat lahat ng mga files. Ayoko nung ganun kasi, as much as possible. Ano po? Ayan. Next is, gagawa na ako ng aking Google Forms. Gusto ko, nag-right click ako eh. Mas, ano ko dun eh. Diba, kahit anywhere, kasi pwede, diba? Anywhere, makakapag-right click ka. Unlike, ipupunta mo pa yung mouse mo dito, gaganto-ganto ka pa. So, mas comfortable ako sa right click, more, and Google Forms. Ano po?
Yes, my lord.
Ayan. So, again, no, pwede ka rin dito mag-create. Ayan, sa Google Apps natin, yung 6 dots dito. Pwede rin naman po dito. Ayan, pwede rin po dito. Okay, hanapin nyo lang po. Pero ako, mas komportable ako sa Drive. Kasi gusto ko, naka-folder muna. I will start with the folder. And then, tsaka ako gagawa ng mga files. Parang sa Windows, di ba? Ang ginagawa natin, naka-folder muna tayo. Tsaka natin doon mag-create or isi-save yung mga files. So, ganun din yung approach ko pagdating kay Google Apps or Google applications. So, ako dito sa loob, right-click ako, and then Google Forms. Ayan. So, pag nag-click ako doon ng Google Forms, automatic po yon, bubukas yung another tab natin. Ganito yung default niya. And then, kung mapapansin nyo, babalik lang ako ha. Babalik ako. Sige, lakihan natin. Diba, nagbukas ng another tab. Ngayon, pag bumalik po ako dito, kung mapapansin nyo, kapag may ginawa na tayong changes, magsisave po dito yan. Okay? So, gawa tayo. Kunyari is, ang una nating output na gagamitin, ang gagawin, sasabay ko na, no? Unti-unti. Periodic test. Parang ganyan. Periodic test. Ayan. So, enter mo lang dyan. Automatic naman po yan. Magsisave na. Ibig sabihin, ito yung magiging file ninyo or yung title ng inyong magiging Google Forms. Ano po? Ayan. So, mapapansin nyo, all changes save in Drive. Kapag ka may nakita na kayong ganyan, ayan po. Kapag ka may nakita na kayong ganito, ibig sabihin, meron na tayong files na na-create from our Google Drive. Ano po? Ayan. Ayan. So, punta na ako dito sa Drive. Kung mapapansin ninyo, nagkaroon na tayo ng file sa loob na folder. So, automatic po yun. Ano po? Automatic po. Ayan. So, sabayan ninyo ako, no? Siguro, bigyan ko kayo na mga 1 minute to explore more yung Google Drive natin. Ayan. So, Google Drive, again, ulitin ko, create a folder. And then dito, from here, right-click, and then right-click more, and then Google Forms. Ayan. Tapos, pangalanan nyo po na periodic test. Ayan. So, gagawa tayo ng sample periodic test. Ayan po. Ayan.
At your command.
Ma'am Roslyn, nandiyan ka pa po ba? Rosalyn?
Even in death, I still serve.
Ayan. Siguro, nag-hands-on din yan si Ma'am. Alam ko, nag-hands-on din yan si Ma'am eh. Ayan, kala nyo, ganyan lang si Ma'am ha. Nagmo-moderate lang ng ating webinar, pero hindi po. Actually, multitasking yan si Ma'am. Nagmo-moderate na, sumusunod pa sa subject matter expert. At the same time, tinitingnan pa yung mga comment nyo. Tinan nyo yun, kaya nyo yun. Si Ma'am Rosalyn, kaya no? Opo.
Kaya din natin lahat yun, sir.
Opo, I believe kaya ng ating mga teachers din yan. Ayan. So, practice tayo, practice.
His will be done.
Ayan. So, again, no, yung mga questions nyo, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa live chat natin. We will try to answer it. Okay? So, again, bear with me kasi gusto ko step by step tayo. Extensive guide po kasi yung title natin. Siyempre, walang kwenta kung parang tatalon ka agad tayo attendance, tatalon agad tayo exam. So, parang hindi na siya naging extensive guide. So, sana, if you can understand my, parang ano din, approach. Ayan po. Ayan po. Ayan. So, sa mga nabibilisan, again, recorded tong video natin. Ayan. You may watch it later. Or kaya, i-replay nyo lang. Pwede naman po yan eh. Parang, iba-back forward nyo siya. Pabalik. Yung parang, ano dyan, I forget the term. Yung parang red, slider dyan. Ayan. So, i-back nyo lang po. Para kung nabibilisan ka na. Ayan po. Do not worry kung hindi ka nakakasunod, recorded to. Later, pwede mo siyang sundan. Actually, napakabagal na po nito kasi we have 3 hours lang. Okay, so sana bear with me. Kasi I'm trying to maximize the time. So kung hindi mo siya masyadong na-gets, ang suggestion ko po is take down notes for now. and apply it later. Kumbaga, watch now, apply later. Kumbaga, parang, ganun po. Ayan. So, mas maganda kasi, nakikinig ka muna kung hindi ka ganun kabilis mag-grasp ng mga learning, is take down notes ka muna. Ayan po. Take down notes and then later, saka natin subukan na gawin. Don't worry kasi lahat ng to ay recorded.
Men, concentrate your fire. We must take this creature down.
So sana, no, ano lang tayo, konting paalala lang, maging respectful tayo sa isa't isa, yung mga comments natin, as a teacher, di ba? Maging ano lang tayo, may mga thoughts tayo dyan, lagay nyo lang sa ano, sa live chat.
Whirlwind artillery tank here.
Ayan po.
At last, back to
Again, sige ma'am.
Ang ating pong hashtag ay hashtag Team Eriotech, hashtag Team Eriotech Cares, hashtag Save the Plastic Straw, hashtag Innovation, Collaboration, and Passion.
Ayan. So, parang baliktad, ma'am. Una natin yung passion. Hashtag passion, collaboration, innovation. Ayan.
Ayan.
My will is undone.
We are the Emperor's chosen.
Type natin siguro sa ano, sa ating live chat. Ayan. So, talagang napakabagal na nito. Pero yun nga lang, medyo kinakabahan ako kung matapos ba natin lahat ng output kung ganito. Sobrang bagal. Pero unti-unti natin, no? Ano po? Ayan po.
Siguro naman, Sir Ed, meron tong ikalawang pagkakataon.
Yes, we will try our best to create more. Actually, itong extensive guide na to, ma'am, is full-blown to kung tawagin ko, no? Actually, lahat ng mga ideas is matatakel na natin dito. Pero kung magre-request pa, we will try our best to come up into another part 2 if ever. Kung meron pa tayo.
The Emperor protects.
So, now I need to proceed, Ma'am Roslyn, kasi I believe ko kulangin ako sa yung pacing natin, no? So, again, no, ano nyo lang to? Back forward nyo lang o parang replay nyo lang. Ayan po. So, once na natin na-rename na, okay na yon. Okay? For us to be organized, syempre, kailangan i-rename muna natin yung file. Ayaw naman natin na parang new document 1. Parang gano'n, pangit, diba? So later tayo rin yung mamumblema. Kapag hahanapin natin yung file, hindi na natin mahanap kasi hindi natin alam yung file nila. So I highly recommend na baguhin niyo muna yung title or yung parang file name na yung mga file. So kung ito ay, ano mo, favorite mong file, make it star. Ayan po. So, parang magkakaroon lang yun ng star dito. Ayan po. Dito may iba lang. Parang index lang. Again, siguro, doon po proceed na tayo sa ating matawag na periodic test. So, kung gagawa tayo ng periodic test, syempre, kailangan may mga questions tayo. Ano po? Ayan. Sir, saan natin kukunin yung questions? Mahirap naman gumawa ng mga questions kung mag-google pa. So, don't worry, meron akong ginawa rito, no? Sabay-sabay siguro tayo i-access natin. Ayan. So, www.bit.ly/eriotech eriotech EGF101 activity. Sir, ang dami mo naman pinada-download. Again, no, remind ko po, ICT tayo, yung topic natin. Kailangan po natin mag-explore ng mga softwares, platforms, and other apps. Okay? So, ito po, pinadali ko na yung buhay natin. After mo i-enter yan, yung code na yan, ilalagay din natin sa ating chat box siguro para mas madalian sila. Ayan. Ayan, nandiyan din yung link, no? Kayo nang bahalang mag-click. Ayan. So, dito, gumawa ako ng isang folder, ma'am. Ayan, mga sir. Sa dito, ang dami nating mga activity files na gagamitin na makakatulong para mas mapabilis tayo. So, unahin na natin itong file na ito. Ano po? Itong file na ito. So, double-click mo lang yan. Ayan po, bubukas yan. Basically, that is a Google Doc. Ayan, Google Doc yan. So, ito yung parang sample ko lang na periodic test, no? So, di ba po, ang pagkakaalam ko po kasi sa periodic test, parang categorize yung mga tanong doon, di ba? Part 1, multiple choice. Part 2, true or false. Part 3, identification of acronyms. Parang ganon. Identification, part 4. Part 5, parang meron ka pa rin diyang kung may identification ka. And select all apply. So part by part, no, different type of, you know, different types of questions. So bakit ko ba prepare to? For us, syempre, mag-copy-paste na lang tayo. So ito yung temporary questions natin, no? So kung meron ka dyang modules na or parang meron ka dyang periodic exam na pwede natin i-convert into online forms, mas maganda. Ano po? Ayan. So again, no, ito yung gagamitin natin. Ha? Parang sample lang. Sir, mali-mali naman yung mga question, mali-mali naman yung no? Puro mga understanding lang naman yung mga question mo. Again, no, alam ko po yun, pero ang purpose natin dito is to convert this document into an online form. Okay? Okay ba sa inyo yun? Do you get my point? Okay? So, ganun po siya. I believe marami lang uma-access. 91 total viewers yung uma-access. Like, nakikita ko kasi, again, no, itong features ni Google Docs, nakikita mo lahat ng mga nagko-collaborate. Pwede tayo mag-collaborate. So this time, viewing lang kayo, no? Sir, paano yan? Ganito, viewing lang kami, hindi namin pwede i-edit. Kaya pwede nyo lang i-click yung file, make a copy. Pero hindi yun discussion dito, no? So, ang recommended ko lang for now, specific tayo kay Google Forms. Nag-copy-paste lang muna natin itong mga tanong na to para lang tayo merong guide. So, balik na tayo kay Google Forms. Ayan, balik po tayo. So, since the periodic test to, syempre, dapat we need to collect yung names, diba? So, ito yung pattern natin, we need to collect the name, kung ano mang pangalan nyo, student number, LRN, kung ano mang number yan, okay? Or grade, or section, subject. Okay, pwede natin itong gawin, no? Ayan. So, unang-una, syempre, kailangan natin ng name. Paano natin ito collect yung name? So, unahin muna natin yun. Syempre, lagay tayo dito. Baguhin lang natin ito, no? Para full name. Full name. Ayan po. Ayan. So, automatic po yan si Google. Ayaw niya gumana. Sige. So, ayaw niya gumana. Palitan lang natin itong part na to. Dito po. Ayan. So, lakihan natin yung screen. Sige po. Palitan nyo ng full name. Tapos, punta po sa gilid. Papalitan po natin ng short answer. Okay? Ibig sabihin, ang short answer dito mag-input yung bata na kanyang pangalan. Ayan po. Ayan. So, for now, bear with me kasi step by step later. Maano natin yan. So, full name muna. Ano bang susunod natin, sir? Kasi ito yung roadmap natin eh. O parang student number or yung USN or yung LRN kung ano man. So, gawin natin. Sir, paano tayo mag-create ng another parang question? Kasi yung mga box po na to, ang tawag dito kay Google Forms ay question. Ano po? Parang nagtatanong ka, ano ba yung full name mo? Diba? Ganun po. Ngayon, kung mapapansin nyo, sa gilid, meron tayo dito add question. Okay? Ito po yung tinatawag nating insert options na tinatawag. Ito pong functions dito. Okay? Or mga menus natin dito. Ngayon, ang gusto ko sa inyo, para maging ano tayo, step by step, gusto ko po, ito lang muna, focus lang muna tayo kay add question. Pag-click natin add question, yan, bababa. Ibig sabihin, magkakaroon tayo ng another card, another question. Ano ba to? Para, ano na lang tayo, layman's term na lang siguro, student number. Number.
Hope is the first step on the road to disappointment.
Scouts ready. Kung papansin nyo si Google Forms, automatic na identify niya na student number. Ano yan? Short answer yan. Hindi yan multiple choice. Diba? So parang ang pangit naman. Multiple choice yung inihingi mo yung student number, multiple choice. Eh kung may 1,000 kang multiple choice, ibig sabihin, 1,000 yung option mo, parang ang pangit. So dapat dito input box na lang. So, no? Or parang short answer text. Yan po. So sa short answer text po kasi, may tinatawag tayo response validation. Okay? Sa response validation po, iba-validate ko para, syempre, wild answer to, tama? Pwede mag-input dyan ng letter. Pwede mag-input dyan ng number. Ngayon, in order for us to validate the response or yung input o yung entry ni bata or ng ating respondents or kung ano mang tawag natin sa kanila or users, dito po ay may mga kinds of validation. Ano po? Isa na po dyan yung number, text, length, and regular expression. So, since na ito ay parang fundamentals pa lang, so dito tayo muna sa tatlo. Ito medyo advanced topic na po to and hindi muna natin ihahapyawan, okay? Or parang hindi muna natin dadaanan para hindi kayo malito. Sa number po, may subcategory is number. Parang nagtatanong, di ba? Ibig sabihin, i-validate na, number ba yung ini-input ng ating bata, ng ating mga respondents? Kapag hindi number, magbigay ka ng error message. Ayan, so pwede kang gumawa dito ng custom error message. Ibig sabihin, parang hindi mo gusto yung default message ni Google Forms. Pwede ka rito, o pwedeng Tagalog, o para siyempre ma-emphasize natin yung function ni custom no, na number only or numero lamang po. Numero lamang po. Diba? Lamang. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, customize. Tayo yung gumawa. Okay? Kaya tinagalog ko kasi para to emphasize na pwede kang magbigay ng customize na message kapag ka hindi na-satisfy tong condition na to. Kapag ka hindi number yung tinype niya, ito yung lalabas. Numero lamang po. Ayan. Ayan po. Again, no, lalabas po tong response validation kapag ka naka-short answer ka. Okay, short answer. And then lalabas po dyan yung response validation. Ano po? And kung ayaw mo naman response validation, you can remove command. Okay? So sa akin, I will leave it as is. Dito lang muna tayo kay number. Sa subcategory ng number, ang dami pang validation. Okay? So siguro later, mas tayo magbigay tayo dito ng best example. Pero for now, ito lang muna is number. Since the student number, no? Pero kung ang student number nyo consists of letters, syempre, wag mong gagamitin ito. Hindi makakapag-input ng letter. Diba? So gawin mo na lang text. Ayan po, text. Ayan lang siya. And another, marami yan. Na-explore pa natin later. For now, this example is best for student number. Na-number ko na lang muna. Ano po? Ayan po. Na-number ko.
Mali
po ba? Okay lang. Ayan. So just to emphasize, no, parang numero lamang. Okay, parang numbers only.
Scouts in position.
Parang ganyan. So again, no, zoom out ko po. So may dalawa na tayong question. Isang full name, isang student number.
Getting into position. Scouts awaiting orders.
So click po ulit tayo another question. Ayan po. Ayan. So ano po ba yung susunod natin kinukuha? Pwedeng grade or section, di ba? Ayan. So kung sakali man yung grade mo is parang, parang fixed na, no? Sige, zoom ko lang ulit. Kunyari yung grade mo is fixed na, kunyari grade level, no? Grade level.
I sense danger.
Kunyari, ang in-offer ng inyong school is grade 1 to 7 lamang. So, alam na natin, tama? Yung grade level, dun lang. Hindi na pwede mag-input ka ng 12 or something. Ito naman po ang example, ano po, no? So, binibigay ko yung typical na idea na pwede nyo i-apply ito later. At ngayon, by default, multiple choice. Okay? Ako, gagamitin ko yung functions or yung option dito na drop down. Ano po? Drop down. Kailan po ba gagamitin si drop down? Ayan. So magandang tanong yun eh. Common to na nakikita ko sa mga Google Forms na minsan mali. Okay? Kasi po, gagamitin si drop down kapag yung options mo napakadami. Okay? Kung parang kunyari, ang option is beyond 10 or 20 and above. So parang ang pangit kung multiple choice, no? Parang ang haba ng mga option. Parang hindi na siya maganda tingnan. Ano po? So I suggest, kapag gano'n na yung scenario, gamitin po ninyo yung drop down. Okay? So sa atin, kung grade level 1 to 7 lang, pwede pa yung multiple choice. Ano po? Pwede yun. Pwede pa. Okay? Pero kung masyado ng mahaba, nahabaan na tayo, kunyari grade 1 to 12 na, di gamitin natin yung drop down. So, siguro gawa tayo dito ng grade. Ayan. Copy ko lang, no? So, nilagyan ko dito na space grade 1. Enter ko lang. Enter. Ayan. Pagka-enter, another option. Palitan ko lang ulit, grade 2. Ayan, ulit-ulit lang po ito, ha? Huwag mabilisan. Kasi ulit-ulit lang yung procedure. Ayan. Grade 5. Mabilisan ko lang, ha? Kasi we need to cop up sa ating time. Grade 7. Diba? Pwedeng ganyan po yung ano. So, i-emphasize ko dito yung usage no ating drop down. Okay?
What is your order?
Grade 9.
Maintain attack
formation. Grade 10. Siyempre, parang napakahaba no, ang pangit tingnan na medyo nakakalito pa. So, ngayon, to improve the appearance, I suggest, gamit ka ng drop down. Hanggang grade 12 siguro. grade 12. Ayan.
Orders received.
Zoom out po tayo para nakikita ng full view. Kung mapapansin nyo, di ba, yung screen ko nga parang nawawala na, no? Ayan. So kung mapapansin nyo, parang ang pangit siya tingnan kapag naka-option button. Okay, or multiple choice. Kaya, I choose the drop down. Ano po, para magda-drop down lang siya dyan, mamimili. So later, papakita natin yung anong itsura, no? So, wag po muna masyadong excited kasi step by step po tayo. Ano po? Roadmap. Balik tayo sa roadmap. Anong subject? Anong score? Sa score later, automatic to. Hindi na natin gagawin. Yung date, pwede rin namang automatic na din to. Okay? So, kung yung subject, yung subject, ilagay na natin siguro to, no? Dito. Kunyari, parang ang subject mo form description is empowerment. Technology. Sorry dun sa lagi kong subject is empowerment technology because I'm also empowerment technology teacher. Ano po? So, yun yung medyo talagang ano natin pagdating sa senior high. And other sa instructor, pagiging instructor po sa college, ang mga IT subjects kasi ang hawak po, mga programming and most especially. Ayan po. So, kung empowerment ang subject natin, pwede ka maglagay dyan na subject. Diba? Dito na. Automatic na siya. Subject. Ayan, empowerment technology. So, kayo na po ang bahala, no? So, pwede nyo pa itong i-elaborate kung may mga direction kayo. Ilagay nyo yung sa description. Ayan. Again, next na tayo. So, siguro for now, yun lang muna yung kukunin ko. Grade level, o kung meron kang section, okay, wala tayo section. Sige, para add lang tayo uli, no? Ayan. Ito yung gusto ko ma-emphasize. Sir, ba't ganun napunta sa taas? Dapat, di ba sa baba na? Marami pong way para siya mabago, no? Pwede mo siyang i-drag, actually. Ito pong 6 dots sa taas. Ayan. Ayan natin. Ito po ay parang holder, yung tinatawag. Kung mapansin nyo, no? Pag ino-hover ko yung aking screen, nagbabago yung icon. Kasi po, it means you can drag this. Ayan, gagalaw, gagalaw. So, zoom out ko po. Ayan. So, pwede mo siyang i-drag all the way down sa yung baba. Kung nagkamali ka, no? Ayan. So, kunyari nagkamali ka uli. Sir, may other way pa ba yung na nagda-drag? Pwede naman po dito, sa ellipsis button na to. Ayan po. Go down. Go to section-based answer. Parang gano'n. Sorry. So, hindi yan, sorry. So, actually, ganun lang, napaka-easy, dadrag mo lang. So, kahit sino naman siguro, diba, millennial teachers or parang mga 21st century teachers is drag and drop, kailangan natin mamaster.
Nothing was left of them save for ash.
Ano po? Ayan, so this time, gagawa naman ako ng section.
The Orc Robot has been destroyed.
Siguro ang section mo lang is, kunyari lang naman, gawa tayo example. Section A to B or A to C na lang. Lang kunyari. So in that case, siguro mas okay na yung option or multiple choice yan.
Tartarus has endured several Black Crusades led by the terrible Chaos Champions.
Section B,
however, it seems too convenient that
binibilisan ko lang po yung mga example kasi po, kayo po ang dapat mag-elaborate nito. Kasi walang kwenta kung puro isusubo ko na lahat. You need to explore more. Yung naniniwala ako doon na dapat practice makes us better. So hindi natin ito matututunan kung hindi natin ito gagawin. Ano po, kung manonood ka lang sa akin, wala rin pong kwenta kasi later, mawawala din to sa iyo. Okay? So, yung memory natin parang hindi naman computer. Who is it?
Inquisitor Mordecai Toth.
So, in this case, recorded ko para matulungan kayo.
Is he here to take command?
Sir, ano na itsura niyan? Wala akong idea kung ano gagagawa natin.
He can commission the service of any imperial citizen from peasant to planetary governor, but I shall not cede command of my Space Marines to
sila pero hindi nila lagyan ng student number. Mahalagang-malaga to, sir, sa akin.
Does he suspect one of us of heresy?
Magkaroon tayo ng validation dyan na dapat ma-force sila na makapag-enter ng kanilang student number. Yes, meron po tayong functionality na gano'n. Zoom in po. Pupunta na po tayo sa tinatawag na response, required response validation. Ito lang po yun. Itatagal lang po natin itong parang function na to into on. I-on mo lang. Ayan, ibig sabihin niya naka-on na. Ibig sabihin, this question or this card is required. Ibig sabihin, they cannot pursue or they cannot proceed sa next question, or they cannot proceed to in submitting this whole form or this exam without answering this student number. Okay? Sir, kailangan ko din yung full name.